Hey, we've got a bit of a longer video now. Aren't we impressed? I finally did it. Welcome everyone to the Part of the Pride and Aston Villa Women podcast. We are here today for an international break special, the last one of 2024. It feels like we've had about 20 this year. So we're finally seeing the back of our international breaks and longing for club football to come back. But of course, I can never do this by myself, even though if you do watch Wednesday night's podcast, I was by myself for a good 5 minutes while everyone else just decided that internet kicked them off. So it's a bit like a two Ronnies monologue. So hopefully you all stay with me this evening. Emily, how are you this evening?
I'm very good, thank you.
Yeah. We were just admiring the Villa Christmas jumper.
This year's Villa Christmas jumper.
Is it really
quite cozy?
Yeah,
would recommend. Yeah,
it looks it good. We aren't sponsored, by the way. So, but if you do want to give us a discount code, we'd love to share that with you. And Becky, lovely to have you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I've just realised that I am not stroking my leg. That I've got a visitor. I'm not just sitting here doing that. I just realised what I look like.
Just in case anyone's got any other thoughts. Yeah. No, it's a cat. It's a cat. That's fun.
Yeah, I'm well, thank you.
Good. I'm glad you can join us. And Sophie, how are you today, this evening?
I'm good. I'm good.
You're good. Perfect.
My cat is also trying to join in the podcast. He was yelling from outside the room.
Hey, we welcome all animals. We've already got one cat already here. We can have another one. My dog will probably make an appearance at some point. Hey, we'll just keep adding the animals onto the podcast.
Emily, do you have a pet?
I've got two cats, but the door's shut, so they can't get in.
They're
in the house. That's not in this room. Haven't shut them out in the storm.
Yeah, where did this rain come from, by the way? I was getting ready to take the dog out. I was like, nope.
Dara's doing it.
Oh, well, they can bugger off, can't they? No. Absolutely not. Right then, we should probably talk some football at some point rather than the weather. Being very British of us, aren't we? Now, yes, as we said, it's the last international special of 2024. You can tell I prepared this bit earlier. And what we're going to do this evening is just kind of check in with all our international villains, how they've been performing. Apologies, you can hear the rustling of Georgie doing the washing outside as well. But hey, we're a live podcast and that's how we roll. So we'll also be discussing the Lionesses, even though unfortunately we don't have any Lionesses anymore. But speaking of Rachel Daly, I didn't know if we'd done this on the last pod or not, but we just wanted to say our massive congratulations to Rachel Daly and Sarah Mailing on their engagement. And yeah, we can't wait for the first Villa wedding. We'll get the claret and blue bunting out now. Hopefully we're invited because, obviously we should be there as massive supporters. But yeah, congratulations to those two. Now, a few bits of kind of Villa and fan club admin before we get on. If people aren't a fan of the fan club already, there is a fan club Christmas party that is on the 15th of December. It's at the Aston Inn. There'll be a buffet, a raffle, DJ, whatever you like. And apparently some sticker books there going to be there as well. So if you do want more information about that, then it's on the Facebook page, I believe. There's an event that you can click that you're attending or for more information, or you can message Holtienda as well on Facebook. Now, Sophie, you're going to tell us about the Villa 12 Days of Christmas, because I didn't know that was a thing until this afternoon. So yeah, so Sophie, what are Villa doing this year?
Yes, so for anyone who has bought a ticket for the West Ham game, the last home game of the year on the 15th of December, I forgot what my brain was there. But yeah, for anyone who's bought a ticket for the West Ham game or that is a season ticket holder, everyone's been entered into a draw to they're doing like every day from the 4th to the 15th. They've got they're doing a draw and they're announcing someone who's won a prize. They've got 12 prizes, so 12 days of Christmas. And they've got the players.
The prizes if you need.
Oh yes, thank you, Becky.
Oh, go on.
Yeah. So obviously this prize has already been won, which is the watch a warm up on match day.
Ooh, okay.
Number 2 is a signed shirt. Number 3, flag bearer on a match day. Number 4 is hospitality upgrade.
Ooh, very nice.
I assume for the West
The
Ham game.
game.
Yeah. Number 7, personalised message from a player. Oh, I've missed number 5 and 6 out. Do apologise. Number 5, 475 is a scarf. Number 6 is a mug.
It's a formation, that, isn't it?
Yeah. Number 8 is a stadium tour. Number 9, a signed football. Number 10, a Christmas card. 11, match tickets for a WSL fixture.
Oh.
And number 12, which is in nice shiny gold, is a player meet and greet.
Oh, very nice. And here's what you could have won if you'd only bought a season ticket. Yeah, no, hey, some good prizes in there. Becky, what would you like to win?
Obviously the mug.
Let me look at them. Well, it's going to be between the mug. No, to be fair, I'd like a signed ball.
I'm with Becky there. The signed ball sounds good. I mean, obviously the player meet and greet is like the big ticket item there, really, isn't it? Like,
but we do that in the
pretty
season,
cool.
don't we? Hopefully.
Yeah, if you see, yeah. I've got my fingers crossed because currently for that game on the 15th of December, so we also play on a Sunday, being lower league. But currently there's 18 available that match in our team, and you can only have 16 because the way lower league works is there's 11 players and 5 subs. So my fingers are crossed that it stays at 18, and me and my partner can
leave.
not play in that game.
A volunteer's tribute.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really playing is probably a very we don't do much playing. We're not very skilled at this point in time, but
Hey, everyone starts somewhere. Everyone starts. Hey, we're getting abuse already. Look at this. What time's all this? Harry. Hey, I put it on the thing that when we were going live, which was like what 8 or 2. I think that's fine. Now Emma should be doing her panto, but she's in the chat. No, I love it. Yeah, Emma saying she had no idea about the 12 days thing either, and she's loving your jumper, Emily. There we go. Now, and hey, Emma wants the shirt or the ball. So
I like Gary's wish, to be fair.
Hey, I mean, Gary, we can all dream, mate.
I did hear as well that on the
dream. Get it? No,
on the 15th of December, the reindeer are coming to Villa Park.
Reindeer?
Santa and his reindeer. But the reindeer are far more exciting than Santa.
No, that's true. Are they going to be wearing Villa colours? Are they all going to be wearing like little jumpers?
I don't know, but that'd be really cute.
Do you mean actual reindeer?
Well, I hope actual reindeer.
No, it's people dressed in reindeer outfits.
It's me and my onesie.
There's for up in
the illusion
Scotland,
a bit of Christmas.
on the international theme, up in Scotland, there's a centre that have got semi-wild reindeer, and I'm sure they have reindeer that they take around the country as well. Like their friendlier ones get to.
So it could be real reindeer.
It could be real reindeer.
Hey,
but they're definitely Santa's reindeer, not the ones from Scotland.
Obviously,
proper magical Santa's reindeer. Good.
Borrowed.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, someone in the chat apparently they nibbled children.
They nibbled the children. The children okay? I love that. That's just made the show. In fact, nothing else we've got to talk about is relevant. We'll leave it there.
It's gone sideways so quickly.
I'm telling you, it's every week.
9.5 minutes. That's it.
Is it too late to ask for photographic evidence?
What, have the children being nibbled? Pictures or it didn't happen. I'll go back to international ones now. Just talk about nibbled children, right? Oh, even better. It was the clothing and the fingers. How hungry were the reindeer? What is going on there? Oh, absolutely.
I'm on my knowledge of semi-wild animals. I was like, what are they called? You know, like zoo.
Come on, Pet Detective, what are you on about?
You know, like when you go to like safari and stuff, like there's animals that are like kind of semi-wild, but they're really used to being fed by people.
Mm-hmm.
So they like it happens with horses when they expect food. They'll nibble because they're expecting you to be giving them food. So they start nibbling fingers and clothing
Brilliant. I love that.
because they're expecting food from you.
Now, reindeers nibbling is why I won't let someone on the podcast. How the reindeer is my fault? What's it? Or are you doing the nibbling? Is that why I won't let you on?
That's why they've got all the knowledge, because it wasn't the reindeer, it was them.
It was them. Yeah, in fact, it was them dressed as a reindeer.
Which I can see. I can see. To be fair,
That'll just spare me a minute. You never know what you could get. And we can say that, of course, as Villa supporters, of course. Survival of the fittest. Oh, Gary. Right. Okay. We're going to take a slight sidestep away from reindeers. We're going to go on to some match reports. Now, we've got quite a few internationals, and what we've all done is take a couple of the good ones, some of the not so good ones, but a good mix of all our internationals, see what they've been up to. So the first one, I've tried to do them in date order as we were going through this break. Becky's I don't care. I don't know.
I didn't know what day it is.
So just kind of, especially those of us who are doing both legs of qualifiers or both legs of things, so it flows. There's some planning to this podcast. Don't doubt me for a second. So we're actually going to come to me first because I want to talk to you all about Canada, Iceland. Okay. Now, of course, our Dree and our Sabs are on the Canadian team, and they both got a start, which was fantastic. And Dree, annoyingly, had so many good chances, and it was just, she was so unlucky not to score. In fact, the whole Canadian team were. Because, Emily, we were watching it, weren't we? And we were just like, it's a really physical match. They've got their chances. It just wasn't coming together, was it? Now, we were all willing that ball to get into the back of the net, and especially for Dree's confidence, as we've talked about as well, you know, getting a start and getting a goal would have been the cherry on top of the cake. But Emily will talk about the goal in the next match there. Now, the Icelandic goalie, Runasdottir, there you go, was always on high alert. Made some cracking saves to deny the Canadians. Now, Sabs did cause us a slight concern, because she had to get subbed off at half time with what looked like a knee injury. However, it did give an opportunity for a debut for, did we say it was Prue, Emily? We're going to
think Prue,
just the Prue.
maybe something like that. Yeah.
I can't. Yeah.
Even the Canadian comms were trying to teach each other how to say it.
Yeah. So yeah, we will come back to you on that pronunciation, but we're going to go with Prue. And yeah, debut, and it was a cracking second half. And Sabs looks okay now. She was back in the gym. She's
had some sort of strapping around her knee.
Yeah.
So
hopefully she comes back. Okay.
At least we're playing Sunday, not Saturday.
Extra day. Yes, absolutely. Because I think it came from, was it when she connected, when, I can't remember who it was now, they went in for the shot, didn't they? And
she came out to claim it at their feet, yeah.
Yeah, she had to come out very bravely, we might add, to get the ball, and then she just ran into...
it looked more like it was sort of studs to her thigh, but maybe it was slightly more than that.
Yeah, maybe a knock there. Yeah. So, but she's looking good to come back. So we'll keep that manifesting in our thoughts. That one. Becky, thank you for. I've just seen it pop up. There's no salty here. It's fine. Yes. So that was a good stat. Now, Canada. It was the first time, and again, Emily can keep me right on this one as well. Was it the first time they'd stopped Iceland scoring?
I think Iceland have scored in every other match they've played this year. Yeah.
Yeah. So Canada kept them down to a 0-0. And of course, their defense was insane to keep Canada out as well. Now, it was really good to see Dree's feisty side. I think we've missed that a little bit. She was having a bit of a scuffle with one of the Icelandic players. Couldn't see her number, so I can't tell you who it was, but they were winding her up and like pushing her out of the way. So she pushed them back. And then suddenly the defender was like on the floor really dramatically shouting for the ref. And she was just like, oh, get up. I'm not having any of this.
I was going to say that game was, the ref was letting, like, she wasn't blowing for anything until about the last 5 minutes, in which I think about 3 Canadian players got yellow cards. But
yeah, which was like
until then, she was just like, oh, you're on the floor? No, we're carrying on.
Yeah. It's all right, play on, other team. But what? So yeah, the ref, again, we'll say this. There's some incredible referees. There's some slightly not great or consistent refs as well. And this unfortunately was one of them. Now, in the 37th minute was probably Dree's closest shout for a goal, but a touch was just slightly too heavy and allowed Heiðarsdóttir to rob it from her feet and put it out for a corner. But of course, Dree kept attacking throughout the match until she was replaced by Olivia Smith in the 67th minute. So she got a really good run out. The creativity you can see is there, which is of course great for us. And it just showed that, you know, we'd love her to be starting more. We'd love to see that back at club as well. Overall, if you're looking at stats, Canada probably should have won. They had the most possession. They had 14 shots, but to kind of support their Icelandic defence, only 4 were on target. So 14 shots, 4 on target. But it felt very much like the team were kind of warming up, ready for the game against the Korea Republic, which Emily will talk about later on. Now, so it was a good run out for Dree to start with. So next one we're going to come to was the England-USA match. Emily, you're going to talk us through this one. Finished 0-0. A bit underwhelming maybe, but yeah, what did you think about this one, please?
Yeah, it got to sort of the 70th minute, and I said to my friend that I'd gone with, I was like, the 3 matches I watched yesterday were all draws, so this bodes well for today. But yeah, it was at Wembley. There was 78,000, I think, something along those lines. So it was a good crowd in. They put on the whole light show beforehand, so it was a good atmosphere. I would say it's probably the best I'd seen England play defensively for a long time.
Yes,
at least since sort of start of this year in the Nations League games. It was definitely I think I just had the stats up a minute ago that the USA had 42 touches in our box.
So you're going to say shots? I was like
42 touches in our box, and I think considering the caliber of attacking players that the USA have, we did really well to keep that defense solid. Like Mary Earps had a really good game. I think she needed to have a really good game. If you look at the past, her form for club and country has been a little bit down, and obviously Hannah Hampton's been getting the nod to start a few times, so I think it was good for her confidence to put in a good performance and say, like, I am still in contention for this. But yeah, there was, I've lost my notes, I don't know where they are, it's a mystery. We didn't pose as much of an attacking threat as the US did from actually being there in the watching from the sidelines. It felt like the USA were more likely to score than us. We were playing sort of weird, the formation was a little bit weird. It felt like Beth Mead was doing quite a lot of tracking back defensively, and Rousseau was quite often isolated up the front. So like when we did get some movement forward, the US defenders were just all around Rousseau, so there was no outlet for it. I think, I'm not convinced on Jess Naz as a starter. I don't know if that's our best sort of combo up top.
Yeah, because you'd think out of maybe the two of them, Aggie Beaver-Jones should be getting that nod because of her consistency and what she can bring at club. And it's an interesting one because we know what Jess Naz can do, but it's like you said, it's if it fits in that formation, that environment. Because she had a couple of moments, but again, nothing to really trouble
It
the
was
team.
also, yeah, like the US defense was also like rapid, and
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like she had the speed necessarily when there was a break on, maybe to get the balls that we were trying to play through. I also think Lucy Bronze, she got player of the match in the end, I think, but she had an excellent game. I think.
Yeah.
I know we've got other options at fullback, but I do think there's going to be a massive hole when she eventually hangs up her boots.
Well, that's the thing, because when she was coming into it, she was pushing Alex Scott, wasn't she? And, Alex said to her, if you're going to take over from me, you need to be better than me. You need to be the best. You need to keep going. And it just seems like there's no one pushing Lucy for that spot at all who can. So, yeah, it's going to be a very strange day when there's no Lucy on the team sheet.
Because it did.
We'll talk about that when we get Sheffield.
It was really. I remember at one point the ball came down right in front of us, and name's gone. This is going really well. She beat Alyssa Thompson to the ball right in front of us, and it was just they're both different ends of their careers, but she's still putting in the work and beating her to it.
Yeah, and all of the haters when she first went to Chelsea that were like, she's too old, we don't need her. And it's like, have you met her? Like, have you seen her play? Like, how can you doubt her? Yes, she's made a couple of mistakes, but so has everyone. But on the whole, you can't doubt it, can you?
We at half time in the England game, they did do a presentation for the under-17s that reached the World Cup semi-final, which was really nice. I misread it and thought they were doing it before the match, and I was like, have I missed it? What's happening? No, that was really good. In the second half, we played pretty much the same. It was, again, for me, it felt like the USA had more chances. And again, obviously it was all changed in the second match, which I think Sophie's going to talk about. But on Saturday, I did not understand only making 2 substitutions in a friendly. And they were. So it was Fran Kirby came on for Jess Park. Is that right? Yeah. I think. Yeah. And Chloe Kelly came on for Jess Naz. And I called it way before they made those substitutions. You knew it was going to be those 2 players that came off because they're not the regulars, if you like. They're the new faces. You knew she wasn't going to pull Stanway or Walsh in the midfield. Which I get that it's the occasion, you're playing USA at Wembley, but it's a friendly match. That's the purpose of them.
That's the thing, because like the US was a completely different team, wasn't it, to maybe what you'd expect. They were missing some of their big names, so it would have been nice to put some of our youngsters on.
I think they gave some players debuts in that match, didn't they?
Yeah.
Again,
let
me pull up the lineup.
Yeah, the name escapes me, but she's 17. I might be making that up. Was it Lilia
Ali Sentner got her debut, I think, in that match. She came on in the 87th minute, so it was just right at the end. And Yasmin Ryan played the second half as well. So, 2 newer names to that squad.
Yeah, so it shows like that willingness from Emma Hayes to go, right, well, these are friendlies. We know they don't mean anything. Yes, we still want to win, but let's see what else we've got. If there's injuries, whatever else happens, let's see. Good evening to Nick, who's in the chat. Bronze will be playing, which is old and great. She won't retire until she's forced. Oh, yeah, someone will have to drag her from the pitch and be like, Lucy, you're not here anymore. She's like, no, I'm playing. You can't do it.
Was there not an interview a few weeks ago where she was talking about Serena had been like, okay, do we need to discuss like
it was after
do we want to start thinking about retirement? And she was like, absolutely not. I'm going to be at the next World Cup. Like,
I'm going to be at the next 5 World Cups. Yeah, no. I can just imagine Serena settle down.
I know she's a goalkeeper, but Alyssa Nair's nearly 40 and she's just maybe I'm wrong, but I'm sure she's late 30s and she's just retiring now.
Yeah,
I'm going to Google this very quickly before I make her way older than she is.
She's only 22. No.
Yeah.
But
Oh no, she is 36. She's not nearly
36.
40.
okay.
Apologizes to Alyssa Nair.
Because of course she's watching, we know that. But yeah, but that's the thing, if you're still top of your game and you can still play and you're still getting selected, it's like age. I don't think age means as much anymore, does it, compared to before? I know people still look at kind of when players transfer like, oh well, she's 31, and it's like, but if she's it's okay. As someone who's 31, like, it's okay.
There's a reason that Sonia wanted her for the Champions League. She's obviously worked with her at Lyon before, but if anybody's seen the Farah interview with Lucy,
yes, I love it.
Sonia went to her. She wanted her.
Yeah,
that speaks volumes in itself. You don't have somebody like her who's making the amount of trophies that she makes every year, just willy-nilly wanting it just because, she's a name, she'll sell the shirts.
Yes.
Also the experience that's invaluable, isn't it?
Especially at the back as well.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
The clip that I remember from that bit of the interview that I've seen is her talking about, I think, her first either Euros or World Cup, where her and Jordan Nobbs snuck out of the camp
a water park
to go to a water park, which seems like something both of them would do.
Oh, 100%. And then come back like battered and bruised, just like, we're fine.
No concussions and then days.
Pick me. No.
Speaking of, we had 2 injuries come out of that USA game, didn't we? Chloe Kelly with concussion and Fran Kirby with a calf injury. Have we had any update on that? Has she been back to Brighton at all? I don't know.
I think they both went back to club, I believe.
I think I saw a photo that she posted on her Instagram, Fran Kirby, of her in the gym and being like, back with the bike kind of deal. Like,
yeah, I think
she might not be
being
featuring this weekend.
Yeah, definitely not.
I think so.
Right. Fran's just not having a good run of luck, is she, with her injuries? Which is such a shame when she's getting back into it. I did misread that as is it going to come up? Yes, as Serena Meerling, and I was like, I don't think it's Serena Meerling. But yeah, hey, could you imagine if Sarah Meerling gets a call up finally? I mean, Mads should have got a call up, but that's a bit of kind of fish. So yeah, we've got there in the chat. Thank you, Emma. She's back in rehab. Saw on Instagram. Yeah, from Instagram and Snapchat, we're getting a lot more information than from the official channels, aren't we?
Just
all the
even going
football
back to the.
I don't know if they've rediscovered Snapchat or been like it's a promotional thing, but the content on Snapchat is incredible.
I'm pretty sure it's a pay-per-snap thing. I've read somewhere.
I don't mind what the reasoning behind them having Snapchat is. The content is providing. Right?
See, I started. No, the other way around. I stopped. There we go. Snapchat like 10 years ago because no one else was doing it, and now suddenly everyone's like, "Yeah, have you got Snapchat?" I'm like, "No, I mean, I probably do." From
I'm refusing to download it. I'm too old for Snapchat now. That's not happening.
Probably the weirdest thing is that me and my girlfriend pretty much only communicate on Snapchat. Like, we don't text for some reason. It's just Snapchat. Like, why? I don't know. But we just have always communicated through Snapchat and just never moved off of it. Like,
you live in the same house, but you've never spoken in person. It's
just next to each other on the sofa.
Yeah. Are you okay? What do you have to say?
The other thing that happened at just before the USA England match was the presentation for Rachel Daly.
Yes, there we go.
Sort of honouring her career with England.
I'm really disappointed ITV didn't show that.
Yes, that was going to be my point.
Did they mention it? Like
they mentioned it at halftime and showed like a very brief, like 10-second clip of her with the nice shirt that they did for her.
Yeah, so in the stadium they came out, presented her with the shirt, and then sort of played on the big screen like a montage, if you like, of playing clips and behind the scenes interview clips and sort of just moments from her playing career, which was nice.
Somewhere.
Yeah, because people were putting the videos in the group, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just watch on here then, shall I?" Because no one was mentioning it on the actual stream.
Yeah, it was really. They did like a little short interview with her afterwards, saying what was your favourite moment, which the go-to answer for that is obviously going to be the Euros. But she did say something about the spinning on the chair in an interview thing that, and she had obviously her mum was there and her stepdad and Sarah and I think her brother were there. So yeah, the whole family was there, which was nice.
Yeah, nice moment to commemorate it, because again, we all understand why she chose the decision, but it's always really hard. Like when the announcements come out, I was really like, there's no Rich or Daly on that one. And Sophie's so upset she's left.
They also, I thought it was really nice, obviously, when the team was still doing the warm-ups when they started the presentation, and so when they sort of came to the end of the presentation, they were coming off to go in, obviously, for the end of the warm-up session, and sort of all came over to congratulate her and Sarah, actually, which was nice, because obviously the engagement announcement had been like the day previously.
Yes, yeah, that was it. Yeah, perfect. And it was, and it just shows like it's such a family, like they're all such a good unit together. Yeah. I was gonna ask you, so the BBC said 2 of the best teams cancelling each other out, and the England team were much improved. Now, Becky, I can see you shaking your head there. What do you think of those comments?
I can't decide if USA were poor or if we were improved.
Yeah,
because obviously we've discussed it, much changed team to USA.
yes.
Were we realistically expecting them to come out like they would normally? Probably not. But I don't think I personally, obviously we'll get onto it with the second game, but I don't think we see enough change from Sarina, especially for friendlies. One of the commentators mentioned it on Saturday, Tuesday, get my days right. The fact for Keira Walsh, who is pushing her to perform. She has to do it week in, week out at Barcelona. There is, there is people that can step into them shoes internationally. Who is pushing her? Is she swanning into? This sounds awful, but is she walking into the England camp saying, "Yeah, I'm starting"?
Yeah. Same with quite a few of them, though, isn't it? Like we all go, we know who we want on the start 11, but actually,
but look how it's fell apart with no Lauren Hemp.
Yeah.
We're just what we do on the left, we're just prattling about, really. Whereas if we had somebody who was pushing her, realistically coming on as a sub and going, hang on, this is why I should start next game. We've not had that, because the subs, like I know the Saturday subs were 75 minutes, but even so, it's hardly is it?
Yeah, it's going back to like the fact of it being a friendly again. Like lots of the other games that we've watched, they make changes at half time, so you're using the whole squad, which is like they've all come to the camp in this international window, see what they can do. That's
they're all getting photoshopped into the team squads.
That did make us laugh. It's just they didn't even do anything to like the shading of her face. It's like she was black and white, and the rest of them were in colour, like the start of the Wizard of Oz or something. It was like, what's going on here? But yeah, that was bizarre.
I was pleased to see Alex Greenwood get the start on Saturday. Yes, it's definitely deserved on her league form. Although she played left back and Carter played in the centre, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd be happy with that, though, if it was Millie instead of Carter. If we think about our strongest back four, I'd happily put Greenwood at left back.
Yeah, I'd rather she was on the pitch.
Yeah.
And because she can do it, she's strong in that area. Yeah, absolutely. There was one thing, of course, talk about Alex Greenwood, VAR. It was right.
I just because in the stadium it just says that it's being checked. And they don't. I've never understood why they don't play the replay. That because you can see it on the TV. Obviously, you guys could see it.
I think
you were saying in the chat, like it's definitely come off. It's not a handball, and so I was saying to the people around me, I was like, "Don't worry, it's going to be okay."
The people at home have told me it's
Yeah.
fine. But yeah, it
Can't
was
believe-
just No, go on.
I know Emma normally does commentary corner, but it's relevant for the VAR check. As we were checking, the guy on comms was like, "Oh, she's only going to need to see this video clip once," and then he read it again, and he was like, "Oh, okay, or maybe twice." Like,
No, keep going.
You give up after about the 6th replay.
Yeah. And it's like, but you understand though, don't you? Like, it is clear and obvious, but in that situation, you'd be like, I just one more time, just to make sure.
Different angle, please.
Yeah. Hey, at the championship, they can have more angles from next season. Hey,
True.
2 at least. At least 2. How wonderful is that going to be? But yeah, obviously no VR. But yeah, the fact that yeah, Shadow, you just say I've been like, right, please be right. Please be right. But it was just Alex Greenwood's reaction of no. Not a chance. Not a chance.
I think it's a good point that usually you can tell by players' reactions to whether the call was right or not. We've all seen a few wry smiles when players know they've got away with one. Like, but Alex Greenwood's clear, like straight up was like, "What?" And the fact that everyone else around was like,
it's like, what?
Why have we blown here? What's happening?
Yeah. It's even better though when the commentators don't have a clue. That one did, but in the Wales versus Republic of Ireland match, I'll talk about in a bit. The commentator was just like, they're checking something. Not quite sure what. But yeah, we will talk about it. Any other thoughts from England, USA that anyone wanted?
We are missing pushing in the left Lauren Hemp, left wing. My brain went on what the position was for a second then. And right back, like there's just nobody to fill.
No.
We've got quite a lot of positions where there's no one really ready to fill.
Yeah.
The boots.
I think even on, I know it's based on, we had injuries during the camp, like to Chloe Kelly, but I think for the second game, on the squad, there were only like 4 forwards left.
Yeah, that was interesting when it came out. It's like, right, we've got about 6 defenders, 20 midfielders, and then like 3 up front, and that. So yeah, it's an interesting mix, shall we say? Because then you think, well, where's that attacking power going to come from? Because that's where we're really lacking, isn't it? Those people to actually create something.
But then we've got 20 midfielders and no rotation.
Also a good point. Yeah.
So I think they need to bring more on the attacking side of it. More players, give them minutes from the under 23s. Like, bring them up now.
Yeah.
And give them some minutes.
Izzy Goodwin.
I was just about to say, do you think Izzy Goodwin, if she keeps the form and if she makes that jump back up to WSL? Because as we've seen, being very good at championship does not always mean that you can keep up in WSL.
And that's the thing, yeah.
If she can make that jump back up to WSL, I think she's so good.
Because I think that's what's going against a lot of the unders, apart from Aggie. Well, you know what I mean. But a lot of them, because they're playing for championship clubs, Serena's almost not looking. Maybe got an eye on for the future, but for right now, she's just not gonna want it.
There's Missy Bow, Mia Enderby, Katie Robinson, and Kiara Keating are all in the WSL, aren't they? There's probably a few more names, but they're the 4. Hannah Silcock as well, I think, maybe.
Yeah, she's Liverpool. Yeah.
I find the Katie Robinson thing bizarre because she went to the World Cup and then just completely dropped off the radar and now is back to playing for the under 23s. Yeah, it's
a strange one, that.
I suppose obviously Beth Mead missed the World Cup, didn't she? So I suppose maybe that's where that opening was on the roster.
Yeah, that's true. But then it's, again, who was she going to push to then get in to the next squad? So watch this space for that one. Thank you very much. Right, Sophie, we'll come to you next. The first leg of one of the Euros qualifiers. This was Scotland 0, Finland 0. Annoyingly, another bit of a meh.
It was very much a bit of a meh. Like, I had that and the Ireland-Wales one on at the same time. Yeah. And the Ireland-Wales one was definitely the more exciting of the two, unfortunately. But yeah, Scotland, Finland was just, it's an odd one with Scotland because they've got such, on paper, they've got a decent squad. It's not a poor squad. They've got Erin Cuthbert, they've got Kirsty Hansen, who was, I think she came on as a substitute, and then I thought she was injured, and I was like, oh no. But she played the second game, so she's fine.
It's all right.
Yeah, she's they've got Kirsty Hansen, Erin Cuthbert, Caroline Weir, Claire Emsley. I think everyone they've got either plays that's in their sort of first 11. I know they've got Emma McCandy and Lisa Evans are kind of championship players. But most of their squad is WSL or sort of equivalent teams.
League. Yeah.
You've got like, which it's like, should that squad be doing better than what they are doing?
Yeah, which begs the question of their manager has just signed a 4-year contract extension.
That's baffling to me.
And which, again, the length of it is baffling, but the actual, he hasn't allowed them or isn't, again, at the forefront of getting them to qualify for these tournaments because they were qualifying. They were up there. They were trying to challenge. They were trying to do it. And yeah, so Sophie, what do you reckon? Do you reckon they're actually going to see that out, or
It's
Euros
it's a difficult one, but yeah, they've not qualified for. Was the World Cup 2019 the last that they qualified for? They were at the 20. Yeah, that's a long time ago, and their squad has improved, I would say, since then.
Yeah,
and the Scottish League is starting to improve as well.
Yes.
So you're getting, it's a bit like, and I think when Jen Beattie retired from international football and Kim Little, I think they made some comments that maybe they weren't as happy with the direction that Pedro was taking the team in.
Yeah,
or what they were doing. So I don't know. I think Carla Ward should go there. Only because
I was going to say, we're talking about this, weren't we? Yeah.
only because I don't want to see Carla Ward coaching another WSL team just yet. I'm not prepared for that. But she can absolutely go and do a job with an international team. And from what I've heard from what other international managers have said, it's a much better work-life balance if you've got little ones.
Well, look at what Emma Hayes is like now. She's like, I'm enjoying life again. I can, have that whole aspect. So Carla, if you're watching, if you haven't been approached for the job yet, we will come with you. We'll be your references. And yeah, we'll go knock down some doors. Absolutely.
And Scotland's pretty close.
I mean, you can fly. Yeah. Close and abroad. It's closer than Canada for the Canadian job. But yeah, no. Hey, it'll be interesting to see what they do, and then that will be a reflection of what the Scottish FA and how they then value their women's team and the
That's
level.
The other thing, yeah. Are they, if they are happy to leave him in the job, then it's like, what's your ambitions for this team then? Like, what do you want them?
Yeah.
It's a bit like some of the teams in the WSL where the club seems happy for them just to kind of hang around the bottom.
Yeah, just stay up, being like the message there. Yeah. Sorry, Becky, what were we going to say?
I was going to say I have heard ex-Scotland players, that would be the one gripe, the FA, that aren't as motivating to the players as perhaps Wales and England FAs are. There's quite a divide with their setup and what their ambitions / priorities are.
I think Rachel Corsie
have said that, but I know I've not made that up.
I think Rachel Corsie's done a lot of work in the Scottish FA to try and argue for better for the women's team.
And it really shouldn't be coming down to players pushing for things. Like, we're not, and it's just silliness. FA should recognise what other FAs are doing around the world, not just in the home nations, but get on board, get on par with that.
Yeah, and
it's because it is a bloody good team. It is an awesome team on paper, and it's a shame.
It's a bit like Norway, isn't it? Though they've got a really good team on paper, but just seem to be
not pushed anywhere.
not going anywhere. I mean, they did really well against Northern Ireland, but
No offense, Northern
all
Ireland.
due respect to Northern Ireland, you'd probably expect Norway to win those 2 games.
Yeah.
Again, no disrespect to Northern Ireland and ex-Villa player Simone McGill, of course, with that one. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one to watch for what they think or how they should move forward.
I
Absolutely.
feel like I need to find it because I don't know where I read it, but he made some sort of comment about something to do with the home leg, because obviously they played at home first and then going into the second leg and then attacking or something. We don't want to show them everything we've got in the home, which made no sense because that's your home advantage. Like, yeah, I'll find the thing, but it just made no sense to me.
He also put substituted Emma Watson on for Martha Thomas, which was, I'm fairly certain
Choice.
Emma Watson is not a forward. Like,
But you didn't want to show all the cards in the first leg.
but I don't
That
think
it was something like that.
Madness.
I'm gonna let me just have a look at the lineups for this. The second game I'll get onto in a second, but when we get round to it. But let me have a look for it. I had the stats up and then I was hoping I could find the lineups, but no.
Find the lineups? No.
Honestly, trying to find this game has been really difficult. Like any information on this. Talk amongst yourselves, and I'll.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'll go on to the next match, shall I? And then we'll circle back. We'll circle back to it. So the next one I'm going to talk about was the exciting one that we're going to talk about. It was the first leg between Wales and the Republic of Ireland. Oh, it was great. You could just tell both teams wanted it so much, and the atmosphere was electric, and it was just it was brilliant. And the fact that there was a record-breaking crowd at the Cardiff City Stadium, 16,845 to be precise. But yeah, from the stats, from watching it, it genuinely looked like Ireland were going to take it. Genuinely, Gary. Emma Watson. It's all right. There's another Emma Thompson that plays in the championship, and we're all like, oh, Nanny McPhee's doing well. But no. Just a different one. But yes, so yeah, record-breaking crowd. And it was a bit of a shaky start for Wales. Because again, on paper, you'd think Ireland should be winning it. They've made it to a World Cup. They've got some, again, world-class players. So what's kind of the issue there? Now, started off the best chance for Wales, actually. It was a lovely ball through from Kerry Holland, who, of course, we know from Liverpool, to find Jess Fishlock, who is incredible. I don't think she gets enough applause. I don't think she really does. So down on the right wing, played a really good ball into the far side of the box for Lily Woodham to see it home, breaking the deadlock. And everyone went, Wales have turned up. They did want to show all their cards in this first match. They wanted that home advantage. I will say, though, Olivia Clark, the Welsh goalie, made some spectacular saves. Ireland just couldn't seem to get any look through on goal, and she looked quite comfortable, the Welsh goalie. About 15 minutes later, though, after that first goal, Rusha Littlejohn steps up. And of all people, now we know she's good. And I think maybe because her personality is coming through a lot more, people kind of forget how good she is on the pitch as well. And she had far too much time and space. And she had no right to shoot from that distance. But she did. And thank God she did, because it was, 40 yards out. And she just took her time, planted her feet properly. And just, it was a lovely little floaty lob. There we go. Just curled into the top corner. But of course, because it came off Clark's glove, it went down as an own goal, which I'd be fuming. I'd be wanting my name on that one. Now, of course, we're talking about Ireland because we're talking about our lovely Patsy. Started both games. The girl needs a rest at some point, but she's so good. We can't let her go. And in this one, again, the defence was really tight because Wales, again, had a couple more convincing shots. And unfortunately, as it went on, it just, again, it wasn't working for either team. Wales had the most clear-cut opportunities of the match, but Ireland were more creative with it. But again, that comment I made earlier about England USA about cancelling each other out, I think that probably applied more to this game. So 1-1 was probably the fairest for how both teams were. However, it then created this electric atmosphere for then to take it to Dublin for the second leg. The last best shot of the game came from Hayes. She had a lovely little turn and shoots, but again, Clark pulled off a one-handed save, I think, for that one. Sorry, did someone try to say something there? No? Just me?
No, but I also heard it. So
I heard it.
Oh.
What? Is there anyone waiting in the bubble?
But it wasn't a meow. There was no
no one's waiting. There's a little 4, and there's 4 people. We're good. It's probably the ghost phantom cat that Lindsay thinks she can hear, that no one else can hear. Hey, well, welcome to the Haunted Podcast.
Has Lindsay done the thing that happens where you leave YouTube whilst you're watching, and then it automatically pauses it, so you end up like a few seconds behind, like a little while behind? Because I'm sure at one point I could hear Becky's cat meowing, but then Lindsay was talking about the cat meowing like a little bit after that.
Paddy wasn't meowing. She was sitting, sleeping.
Oh, she was like, maybe I've imagined a cat. I know my cat was meowing, but like...
Does she sleep meow?
No.
Oh.
Maybe both me and Lindsay imagined cat meowing.
No, Stormy barks in his sleep, but because his mouth's closed, it's like, it's really cute. Just on the topic. Right then. So that brings
about him. He's just opened his eyes to glare at me. The cat.
Just typical cat behavior, that, isn't it? Like, oh, the human is talking again. Right then. So that is all for our first lot of matches. So now we're going to transition quite nicely into the second lot of matches. So Emily, we're going to come back to you. And this was Canada 5, Korea Republic 1. So talk us through it. This was much more like the Canada we were expecting, right?
I think probably the scoreline and the stats were reflective of the difference in quality between the Korea Republic team and the Iceland team. Like, Canada had a lot more possession in the final third and in the sort of in and around the top of the box against Korea Republic than they did against Iceland. Iceland was a very end-to-end sort of game. But yeah, so they made a few changes at the start. They had Emma Regan playing and at the base of midfield. And hang on. Reed was making her debut at centre back next to Vanessa Gilles, who, by the way, I don't know how she hasn't made more of these world best lists. Like, she's had a cracking season for Canada and country and Leon. Like,
in the Guardian's women's football ranking, I think she's 66th.
Which
66th.
For me, she's easily one of the best centre backs in the world.
Yeah.
So I apologise for my gasp mid-sentence. My cat did the thing, when they roll over with the little legs, and it's just, I wish I could show you, but the other side of this camera is chaos. But he's the cutest little creature.
I thought you said apologies for my gas. That sentence was like...
That's what it was, really.
I wouldn't be admitting to that publicly on the pub.
It's like, none of us noticed. You could have just gone on. Gasp. Right, okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yes. So Olivia Smith played really well. She got the start in that match. She had a goal that, again, ended up going down as an own goal, but it was all down to her creativity and making the run to get the shot off from sort of the near post, and then it took a bit of a wobble in, but the build-up play leading up to it was all her, so I'm going to give her that goal. And then we had Mimi Alidou, who also hasn't had much of a look in the recent past in the Canadian team, and got the start, which was good, and she had a really awesome goal from, again, really far out, a little bit like Rucha's goal, which went in just under the crossbar. It was a really nice goal. Yeah, they made some changes at half time, which, like I said, for the England match, I'm glad that coaches are doing that, because that's the whole point of a friendly. They made some changes. They had another two debutantes, Hernandez Gray and Nia Rose, came on for their first caps. Nia Rose being the younger sister of Jade Rose, who, like, that family is mad talented.
There we go. Right, okay.
And I think, so I'm going on a tangent here, Jade Rose she's finished she played her last game for Harvard, so she'll be, and I think she said she wants to come to Europe. I don't think she's staying in North America, so she'll be, I reckon she'll probably end up at a certain Manchester team, but I'm hoping she doesn't.
Oh, the one that likes to buy players and sit them on the bench until they get sick of being there, and then end up coming to Villa. So we can.
That's true. If it manifests that she ends up at Villa, then that'll be fine.
Like, fingers crossed that she just skips that middle part of going to Man United for a year.
Yeah, she is injured currently, Jade Rose, which she wasn't featured in this camp, but yeah, she's been another key part of the Canadian backline, which again was solid defensively against Korea Republic. They had that one. They obviously conceded the one goal, which came from Jade Riviere, injured again in that match. She also has no luck with injury. She tried to run it off, which was, I think, how the goal came about. It was from a set piece for Korea. Ball came in and she lost her runner because she was injured. And yeah,
she's not having a good look either, is she?
No, I don't know if, because she's been back playing for United and playing really well again. It's just seems like every time players get into their stride, but like Lucy Parker, they then just get knocked down again.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like this would have been the perfect opportunity to see Lucy Parker, wouldn't it? In these friendlies as well. I do just have to interrupt a second because Emma's causing us all to crack up because she is typing in caps because she doesn't know how to turn it off.
She's shouting at everyone in the chat.
But then it's just Gary like, you're hoping RDP will hear you.
If you shout loud enough. Yeah, because
right, I just managed to maintain my composure back again, and then you set it off again. You're trying real hard tonight.
Oh, so
no composure on this podcast.
You've solved it, I think. I think Lindsay says she's behind.
There we go.
She can hear random cats.
Who was she behind that she can hear random cats?
But yes, in the Canadian game, so Dree came on the 60-ish, 62nd minute, something like that. It was the first half of that game was it had a lot more flow to it. Because I think I said to you, I was like, there's goals in this game. I hope she comes on. And when she did come on, it got a little bit more stop-start. Obviously, there was an injury to Jade Riviere, and then there was various other fouls and things that the ref kept blowing for. So there wasn't as many clear-cut opportunities. But then right at the end, she had, I think the cross came in from Hernandez Gray, which was, she got an assist on the goal. Dree received it, did a nice little turn, and then put it in the bottom left-hand corner, which was really nice to see her. I'm pleased she scored on this break because it's been a while since obviously she scored that goal against Spurs back at the start of the season. So I think it'll be good for her to come back to club having got that bit of confidence and
No, 100%. Gary, start making us laugh. And that Lindsay's actually behind Emma hitting her caps lock.
Oh, did I misunderstand that?
Don't read that wrong, please.
That is something that Lindsay would do. It is knowing her for so long, as I do, she would definitely do that. So yeah, Emma, if you just want to turn around and just make a go away. But yeah, no, for Dree, back to the football, for Dree to get that confidence, and it was such a good shot as well, like you said, like for her to have finished that, get it in the back of the net, and get that mindset of right, back to club, back hopefully to starting.
They also, because it's, I mean, at the start of this year, so the international breaks around sort of February, March time, so they played in the Gold Cup and the She Believes Cup.
Yes.
So that goal on Tuesday was her 10th of this calendar year for Canada, she's their top scorer this year. But yeah, she was in such good form at the start of the year, so it's hopefully this is a start of a return to form.
Yes.
And also the Canadian team in this calendar year have gone the whole season or the year unbeaten in regular or extra time. They've only lost in penalties.
Wow. And even that is a stat, carrying that with you as well. Like you're part of something that's working and something that is so positive. Like, again, that's gonna be.
They did. I wonder if Sabs had been fit and hadn't been injured in the first match, whether, because obviously Kaylin Sheridan only played the first half, and again they switched at half time. Lysiane Prue came on for the second half, but I wonder if that, obviously if Sabs had been fit, if she'd have played the second half.
Yeah, that's true.
On Kaylin Sheridan, did everyone see her dressed as the Grinch?
Yeah.
I want to be Canadian so badly to be part of that squad.
Did
you also
such good team activities.
Your wife's comment on it on Instagram, being like, "That is my wife."
Honestly, it was like did you say you hadn't seen it, Becky?
No, I've not seen it.
It's like the full outfit, the mask and everything, really? And the mannerisms were down to a T.
Yeah, it was insane. Like
find it.
Proper Robin People's presents and hats.
We did a Christmas event this weekend, and there was a guy dressed up as the Grinch, and he was fantastic. It really nailed the character.
I think if you're going to do it, you've got to commit, haven't you?
Most of the kids because I volunteer with children, most of them thought it was amazing, and one of them was terrified of him, and it was really sweet. Like, they're still that little that they're scared of people in costumes. Like,
I do need help for a costume on Tuesday. I need a Christmas outfit. I traditionally turn up in something, and I've got nothing prepared this year. I found an inflatable Christmas tree that I'm tempted to get, but I'm not going to be able to eat in that.
Can I offer a reindeer outfit?
I was a reindeer a couple of years ago. I was a Christmas tree. I was an elf last year.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm running out. It might have to be a snowman.
Snowman can be doable.
Could be the Grinch.
Or the Grinch. Yeah.
I'm too nice to be the Grinch.
Is the fact we're all laughing a good thing or a bad thing? Yeah, in fact, if anyone in the chat's got any costume ideas, please do put them in, and we'll all have a think. And hopefully, by the end of the show, Becky, we'll have your outfit for you. So, Christmas themed outfit. Yes.
Just on a roundup of the Canadian match, they obviously had I think she was their under-20s coach, or one of their youth team coaches was stood in as interim coach, Cindy Tai. She's done a really good job, but I don't think they're looking to obviously fill the position long term. It'll be really interesting to see who they get in, because they have got a lot of really talented younger players like Olivia Smith coming through. And I think that they need to, obviously we want to see Dree play, but and they have got that solid core of older players like Buchanan, Ashley Lawrence, Quinn, Janine Becky, Leon Zadorsky. They've got all those players like solidly a core base there, but they have got a lot of youth players that they can build for the future with. So it's exciting for a new coach to come in, and obviously there's bigger changes that need to happen within their federation. So hopefully it's all on the right track.
Has anybody been linked with it?
I don't think not solidly, no.
No, they just said the search. I think they only started looking like last month or the month before.
I think they were trying to decide what to do with the whole
I
Bears.
think they were waiting for some things
Yeah,
to be
some
sort of
clarification.
finalised.
Yeah, because Bev Priestman is off to New Zealand with her wife, I believe.
Yeah, wife's taken one of the coaching job down there, isn't she?
So watch the space.
I think maybe Canada's got some. I think maybe it might not be a great job to take. It sounds like there's some cultural issues that stem deeper than Bev Priestman, and she's kind of taken the fall for.
I think that definitely the organisation has historically not been very supportive of the women's team, and is because they've had to fight for stuff before, from the player's perspective. So I think, it'll definitely need somebody that's able to stand up on their own and sort of put their own mark on things, rather than just following what's been the done thing, if you like, at the
kind of
feels like
of their own way. Yeah,
of coaches that are available, I feel like Casey Stoney is probably a coach a bit like that, that's prepared, because she did a lot at Manchester United.
Yeah, they need someone like that, don't they? That kind of personality to kind of stand up and be like, "No, we deserve better." So let's go for it. Yeah,
because it's such a that's such a weird situation, because she'd literally just moved all of her family over there, hadn't she? And then the Wave got rid of her, which made no sense.
No. Well, Jill Ellis, of course, has now left to go join FIFA.
I just talk about failing upwards. I mean, what even?
I don't get that.
Yeah. In fact, she's joined as I had it for yesterday's show. Bear with to take up a role with FIFA. Yes, I know that. Right.
I think isn't it like the head of something?
It's chief of. Hang on. Bear with, caller. Chief football officer. Chief football officer, and part of her job will be to work alongside Arsene Wenger, who's FIFA's chief of global football development, and her responsibilities will encompass key technical areas connected to the development of the game across the world. So everyone, really? That's
very vague.
That's classic FIFA. Like, she's currently still got all these allegations against her from people that she worked with not even like 2 months ago. No, what we're going to do is we're going to make you the head of this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's just,
you're the character that we want. Yeah.
When we talk about the issues within women's football,
it's disappointing.
So many issues, and that they choose to ignore it and to, baffles the brain. It does. But again, hey, watch this space. We'll see how that works.
I can't remember which club. It might have been the Wave. That would make sense. Jonas Eidevall's name linked to.
Yes,
I think that was the Wave.
Do we think he'd do it? I mean,
why not?
I think it would definitely be. I don't know. I don't want to make it sound bad, but do you know what I mean? If he went back to sort of the Dutch league or something, well, that would be a step down. If you know what I mean. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I think going to the NWSL was staying on like a level.
I'm not sure we can get too many Scandinavian players over in America. Fill out his squad.
Though it's on the same, not time zone. That's not the word I'm looking for. Their structure. They play their league in the same they're both summer leagues. That's what I was looking for.
There we go. Yes, good.
I mean, I've just started a new job and I'm running on such little sleep right now.
But hey, you made it tonight, and we appreciate you for doing so. Just a little segue before we get into the next game. Becky, I have some ideas. Georgie is watching and she's texting me. Not on Snapchat. Text.
You're a grown-up adult.
She's just me, a grown-up adult. She's sent 6 messages.
Right.
Has she said elf, icicle, Christmas pudding, penguin? I'll stop.
I have seen a Christmas pudding outfit because I thought that'd hide my belly quite nicely.
No.
Just be completely round.
Round is a shape.
So Christmas pudding, definitely one.
Yeah. I personally think penguin. Penguin will be good.
Ooh.
Penguin will be good.
I'll write that one down. Penguin.
There you go. Thank you, Georgina. Perfect. Lovely stuff. Christmas costumes nearly sorted. Unfortunately, we're going to go to a game that had a bit more of a negative note attached to it rather than the actual football. Back to you, because we're going to talk about the England-Switzerland game. And unfortunately, a lot of the focus has come off the football and actually to what was happening around it. So complete up to you where you want to start.
I think we'll start with the actual game, I think.
Let's go there. Sounds good.
There was a lot of rotation. I think there was 10 changes from the USA game.
Nice.
I have some. It was good to see a lot of youngsters. My girlfriend described it as the 2 millies and the kids. And I know Gabby George is not a youngster, but in terms of caps, I think Millie Bright had more caps than everyone else on the pitch combined.
Really
which says a lot about.
And there was like 150 something in total, and 87 were ill. Something random.
Yeah. I think she's got 85. Oh. I think the number is somewhere in the 80s. And I think there was not double that on the in total. I was, if I'd have had time, going to do a nice little spreadsheet, but we didn't get that far, so that I had actual numbers to be like, this is how many caps that were on the pitch.
I thought you said cats. I'm clearly cats. Yeah. Sorry. Spreadsheet? No. Yeah.
And then I was going to do like an average age, because I'm sure it was probably somewhere in the region of about 24.
Wow.
I'm going to guess at around 24, because there was some quite young ones on the pitch. So it was nice to see the rotation. I would have liked to see a mixture, because a lot of those that were on the pitch have all played together a lot at under 23s, so they have the connections there. Yeah. And it would be nice to see them making the connections with the more senior players, because realistically in a tournament, if there's an injury or whatever, it's going to be one player that's off, and then those connections are going to need to be made at some point. So it would have been nice to maybe see a mix and have like half of them start and then half of them come on it later on.
Yeah. Like a more believable mix of what.
Yeah. Because it's unlikely that we're going to get all of them and Millie Bright on the,
versus Spain next year. Millie Bright and the kids.
I think Esme Morgan's like 25, 26 as well, but she feels very young. Like
still a youngster. Yeah.
But yeah, so it was nice to see Laura Blinkholder-Brown get her first.
Yes, let's give LBB a good
first cap. So that was nice. Though I think it wasn't the most thrilling of games in general. And for us, where we were sat, we were behind one of the goals, and we were behind the goal that was the home goal in the first half. So all the action was up in Sweden's half. Switzerland's, sorry. FWs are getting confused in my head.
It was that far away. It was on a complete different continent.
Honestly. We're on the same continent, Freya. They're both Europe.
All right.
Over the sea.
Not the same landmass.
Oh, God.
I think Sweden is connected, though. Is it?
Yeah, but not
We're an island.
Wow.
There was Doggerland 10,000 years ago, but that's a different kind of fish. But now we are alone.
I mean, I was thinking about Sweden and Switzerland because I got the two mixed up, and I was like, I'm fairly certain they're on the same, and we're the island. That's fine.
No, I meant from here.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's all good, everyone. It's all good.
First half was all up the opposite end of the pitch, and then the second half, Switzerland came into it more, and it ended up being more at the other end of the pitch. So I was like, I was hoping, the first 8 minutes, Grace Clinton got the goal, and I thought, this is great. This is going to be a goal fest. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't.
It felt like it was a different feel, though, wasn't it? That first half, like it was more exciting, and it was more creative, and it was like, oh, we're doing something different. Like this isn't stagnant. But the second half, because she was then bringing on, ye old faithfuls, it just felt like it just slowed down again. Didn't it?
Did say at one point this game needs Lucy Bronze.
Yes, let's talk about that, shall we?
However, it did turn out that Lucy Bronze, we didn't see them. I didn't see them warming up. I was distracted by stuff that was going on around me. Not the stuff that we're going to talk about, but more that we had a group of children in front of us that were trying to start a Mexican wave from about the 35th minute to the end of the match.
No.
Every 30 seconds there was, let's try and get the wave going. And I was like, oh.
No.
I was like, it didn't work the first 15 times. But yeah, so I was distracted by stuff going on. And then saw Jess Carter come on and was like, oh, Jess Carter's like, that's fine. Only saw afterwards that Lucy Bronze had been ready to come on, and then she wasn't on the team sheet and couldn't come on.
Now, yeah, because the commentators missed it as well. So they kind of panned to her for those watching at home. And everyone was like, oh, Lucy Bronze is on the sideline. Lucy Bronze is sitting down. Oh, she's not on the team sheet. Now, when they read out all the names at the beginning, she also wasn't read out then. So you'd think that someone would have gone.
That might have been a hint.
Just a little one. Yeah. But can you imagine, like we always talk about like first names on the team sheet. She's probably literally the first name on the team sheet. So for that error to happen, because it's not as like some commentators, some pundits, as we'll talk about later, they don't recognize like not the household names. They only know a couple. But they don't have that excuse of not knowing her. She's literally one of the longest serving ones. So yeah, but as Serena said, she didn't blame anyone in particular. She just said that was our fault as a collective, which again, you support your team, which was quite nice. But yeah, it just begs the question, why was it allowed to happen? And if Villa can get a lot of crap for putting Noelle Moritz on the cup game.
That is the first thing I thought of when I read it.
It's like, oh, everyone kicked off then, but no, it's fine. When Lucy...
To be fair, though, Lucy Bronze, like Noelle Moritz was put on the team sheet when she shouldn't have been, and Lucy Bronze was left off it when maybe she should have been on it. And also this was a friendly.
Conti Cup was a friendly.
Not the Conti Cup anymore because it doesn't have a sponsor.
It's always the Conti Cup.
Oh, but yeah.
But so, anyway,
Switzerland, England, Switzerland. It was at Bramall Lane. I've never been to Bramall Lane before. It was nice. I know.
Scares me. It's too steep.
We were quite low down, so we didn't go.
Right
up. Yeah, we were like.
Yeah, scares me.
It felt for a Tuesday night, a friendly against Switzerland, a really late kickoff. 7:45 if you've got children is incredibly late. And it's not school holidays at the minute either, so
there were what 21,000 was it there? 23? Yeah.
It felt full in like fuller than I was expecting it to be for a Tuesday night friendly against Switzerland.
And of course we're talking about it as well because our Noelle Moritz was of course playing. How did Noelle do?
She had an alright game.
It's alright.
Yeah,
she played.
It was
started.
Honestly, it kind of that was how that game felt. It was like this game happened. It was alright. It was kind of meh. Like in terms of, it was alright. It was a game.
It was a night out. We had a lovely time.
It was very much that kind of vibes. There was nothing particularly. I can't remember anything particularly of note that happened on the pitch during it, other than the point right near the end where Beth Mead had a little cheeky foul on one of Switzerland's defenders. Thought it had gone out it had been blown as a corner, and was stood at the corner with her ball, and the ref was like, "No, it's a free kick to Switzerland," who then moved the ball almost to the so far up the pitch without anyone noticing.
Ref, bring it back. Nah.
No, honestly, it was like they moved it a good like 20 yards up. Like, I was like, what's going
I
on?
think I remember the one you're talking about because I was like, that's not where it went out.
But yeah, so it was all right.
Yeah.
The stuff around the game, less all right.
Emily, were you going to say something about the
I was
actual
just gonna
game?
say,
before?
yeah, do you think because in their first game Switzerland lost 6-0 to Germany? Do you think that did Switzerland play better? I didn't see that Switzerland-Germany game. Do you think they played better against us, or are Germany just firing on all cylinders?
I haven't seen the Switzerland-Germany game, so I can't really commentate on that one. Like, I don't know if they played better because I've not seen the game.
I think Germany in general are looking good again.
They've got a lot of firepower at the minute, Germany.
I watched the Germany-Italy game, if that's any help. 2 defensive errors led to Italy winning 2-1.
I feel like that seems to be the thing with Germany. Their forward is really good. Their defensive line is similar to England's.
What amazed me in that match, just really quickly, Leah Schuler was only brought on in like the 80th minute or something. I was like, she's one of your names. Enderman had a really good game. But again, they're going through a bit of a transitional period as well, aren't they? So again, it's trying to find out.
They've got a manager now, or are they still looking?
They got a male manager. They kept panning to a man.
Hang on.
If he was related to them or not. Or if he was just pressing the caps lock key behind someone.
I
will say,
Tuesday.
Gary's brought up Alisha Lehmann. I was actually hoping to see Alisha Lehmann at least on the pitch at some point because she's all right. Like, an ex-Villa player. Like,
it's all right. Watch the game. All right.
Yeah.
The stats
were very
Germany Switzerland game suggest that Switzerland weren't at their best. So possession 76.
They had more shots.
24 shots on target. 13 on target to Switzerland's 0 and 0.
Yeah.
Bit tricky.
You're all digging though.
What were the lineups like for that game? Sorry.
No, it's okay. Let me have a peek for you.
The Germany manager is apparently Christian Vuk. I'm not sure how you say his last name.
Okay.
It's got an umlaut over the U.
Alisha Lehmann started.
And Sen Gotrovic.
Yep. To be fair,
Again, on paper, that's not a bad team. But
no, it's not.
I think they're missing Leah Volti as well, aren't they?
They are missing Leah Volti.
Yeah.
Massively.
Yeah. But even like the Germany team, like I know this is on Google, so their ratings can obviously be judged however you wish. But even the best player on the German team only got a 4.6.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was. I think it was the most
I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
I hope Switzerland can do well in the summer because it's always good when for the tournament.
It would be very nice for them to get further than the groups, at least.
Yes.
I think that's
although I think they're going in. Oh no, we haven't drawn the groups yet, have we?
No, 16th of December for that.
16th, yes. 6 o'clock Central European time. Everyone, get it in your calendars for the draw.
Do you reckon that one will have buffering issues during the draw, like the FA Cup third round did?
Well, it won't be on Instagram Live, so I think they'll be okay.
It does happen occasionally, but
it does. But it's quite funny when it does. So
like
yeah,
the flag, the corner flag.
It's the what? Sorry,
it's like Christy Mewis and the corner flag in like women's football that are iconic.
That will forever be one of my favorite moments in the whole of the WSL.
Didn't she ask the ref if she'd hold the flag as well, and the lines person was like, no.
Oh, bless her. She's like, how am I going to take this cake? Like, the wind is literally coming this way, coming at me. But yeah, I think she's gone down in history for playing, how many games did she play? 2? And that was one of them? Like,
I don't know.
I think I saw something earlier where she sort of came to this realization. She was on Sam Mewis's show podcast thing,
Mhm.
and they were talking, and she sort of came to this realization that she's barely played for West Ham.
Yeah.
Like, I think she's obviously contributed the corner flag
And hammies.
excellence and the hammies. Yeah,
Yeah. And that's it. That's all she needed to do. Just show up, do those two things, and then have a baby. Yeah.
Show up, be an icon, have a baby, maybe come back.
That's the thing. How will she live up to it when she comes back after maternity leave? There'll have to be another storm, and she'll have to battle against something else. Maybe a tempest just like comes through the pitch. That'd be quite good. Not wishing ill on anyone, of course. But yeah, right. Back to the serious. We're gonna take a breath.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the serious.
match.
We're trying to keep it lighthearted because this bit's less fun.
Yeah.
So we arrived at the stadium, and the direction we came from and where our like entrance point was meant we had to walk pretty much around pretty much all the way around the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Like round two sides, and we were coming down, and we saw some protesters. I think they were counter protesters, sort of supporting trans women playing football and things like that, and LGBT inclusion in women's football. And I was a bit like, this is odd that you guys are here. This is like preaching to the choir. I was like, I'm not kind of sure why like to be, because I'm like, I feel like
everyone's here for that reason anyway.
I was like, what are you guys doing here? Like, women's football is accepting and like generally, and then walked around the corner and realized the reason they were there is because the anti-trans women brigade were out in force. There was about 6 of them with banners, and I was just like, oh, why are you here?
Yeah, literally, why are you here?
I turned to my girlfriend. I was like, oh god, they're here. Okay. I thought they only existed in the sad parts of the internet, but okay. Like, just and middle-aged men that I argue with at Christmas seem to be the 2 demographics that fall into that category. I was just like, why are you here? And then at the beginning of the second half, I don't know what showed up on the TV, but they managed to get one of the banners into the stadium. And I was like, and I think they were either getting told to move it, or they did take it down eventually, but they sort of very slowly, like, I was like, are they getting kicked out, or are they like, I feel like they should have been kicked out. I don't think they were kicked out, but I think
they weren't there for the football, were they? Let's face it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like if you're going to get kicked out for other political messaging in football grounds that has been happening recently, I think you should also be kicked out.
Yeah, because it's hate speech at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I think part of the issue is that a lot of people are very, very ignorant on the subject.
Yes.
A lot of people believe that it's that there are men that are just a bit crap at football, that are putting on a wig on a Sunday and going, I'm gonna play and destroy women, like, and invade, like, you know, because there's not enough opportunities for men to play football as it is at all levels.
It's the people who think it's Bob and Dave from the pub who go, oh, do you fancy playing football with the lasses on Sunday? Let's go put a wig on. And it's like,
and you know what? No. If men want to play football with the women, there are actually opportunities, you know? Like, if Bob and Dave from the pub on a Saturday want to play football with women,
they'd be welcome.
They absolutely can, and they do not need to go through the long and arduous and, quite frankly, pretty, like, you're not transitioning for the just so that you can get a competitive edge. Like, the amount of social scrutiny you're going to go through, so many people lose their family, their friends. Like, to play football in the women's league, like in any women's league, you have to submit to testing, I think either every 6 months Like, and that's to play at the very lowest level
Mm.
to prove that your testosterone levels, because that's the other thing. I was like, oh, but the testosterone, it's like, okay, but you have to prove that your testosterone levels are below a certain threshold, which many cis women playing football is probably actually higher than, because there's so many conditions that mess with your testosterone. And it's just, they always talk about wanting to protect women's sports, but they never actually care about issues that are happening in women's sports.
Yeah.
Like, I had an argument with someone who was talking about, we were talking about swimming, and I was like talking about Katie Ledecky, who I believe is one of the greatest female swimmers of all time, and arguing about whether trans women should be allowed anyway. And he was like, I don't know who she is. And I was like, so do you care about women's swimming?
Why are we having this conversation?
Why are
Like,
you talking about it? Why are you arguing?
You don't know. Like, and actually, what makes it worse is that you're at Sheffield United's ground, and Sheffield United's women's team have far bigger issues, and there are far more important causes that actually are a massive issue for women in sport. We talk about the mental health of women's players.
Yeah.
You've got Carla Ward spoken about it, how there needs to be more psychological help for women. You've got players who have left teams and talked about the negative mental health impacts. You've got Mary Fowler, Courtney Vine, Viv Miedemar have all taken breaks for their mental health recently.
Yeah.
And you're at the grounds of a woman in football who was bullied, and like her mental health was so poor because of women's football that she took her own life. And yet you're protesting an issue that's not really an issue.
No.
It's not affecting anyone. You're saying, oh, you know, you get the argument of, oh, you're taking away from like places for women. Have you been like to a women's league? Like, you've got like, you know, you can put 11 players on the pitch at the bottom and 5 substitutions. Half the time teams don't even have 16 players like on a weekend because people are busy, people have lives, you know. Like, there's not like
We're lucky
it's
to have
ridiculous.
10.
What's that? Sorry?
We used to be lucky to have 10.
Yeah, like
You'd even field a team, and that's the thing. It's surely if this was a bigger issue, or even an issue, I should say, people within the women's game would be talking about it.
Yeah.
There would already be things to fight against it, things to make it fair. And the people who actually genuinely want to protect women's sport, we're the ones who talk about it every week. We talk about it all the time. We make podcasts because we care about it so much. And we want to get this message across of inclusion and diversity and acceptance and safety, most of all safety. And yet you've got these idiots, because they're ignorant, who think it's acceptable to bring banners saying women's sports are for women. And it's like, yeah, because trans women are women, funnily enough. And they are going to play sports, because why shouldn't they? Who are you, this nameless, faceless crowd of about 2 of you, and you're really proud?
That's what I don't. How does it affect them?
Yeah, absolutely.
What has it got to do with you? How is it affecting you?
Yeah.
If the people who, in theory, it should affect or it potentially could affect aren't saying anything,
then it's a non-issue.
then shut up.
Because groups similar to that have called upon the Lionesses to support them, because these are the issues they should be speaking out on. And it's like, do you really think any of the Lionesses are going to give you the time of day to spout your absolute hatred? Because that's what it is. It's not about safety. It's not about protection. It's hatred and ignorance.
if it was such a huge issue, it's like such a huge safety issue for men to play with women, Soccer Aid wouldn't happen the way it does.
Yeah.
Like, and how many people have been injured at Soccer Aid? Like, and if it was such a competitive advantage, surely teams would be hunting for trans women to play for them. How many are in the top flights? How many trans women are there playing in the top 2 tiers at least that we see regularly? None, because
No.
it's not like, you know.
No, it's not an issue. And in fact, there's only probably Quinn, who we talk about quite a lot, who is openly transgender, non-binary. Does anyone care?
No.
Because they are a fantastic footballer, and that's why they get picked for Canada to represent their country. And it's like, it's not that hard to grasp a concept. So the fact that they decided to do it so openly and so brazenly was quite repugnant, really.
Well, it doesn't help when you have certain people platformed spouting those views that then get platformed.
Yes. Yeah. Because you could argue, well, they're the sports media, they need to, give all viewpoints a chance. But no.
All viewpoints don't have a chance. And if it was racism, would we be going, oh yeah, let's listen to their point of view?
Yeah.
No, we wouldn't.
No.
But, at the end of the day, it's hate speech towards a certain group of people that could be put into any sort of category, and every one of them categories don't deserve a platform.
Mm-hmm. Not even slightly. So we are talking about it purely tonight to tell those people that their agenda is complete bollocks, and they are not welcome at women's football games to spout their hatred, because there's no place for it at all in the women's game.
And it's also on like the Stonewall LGBT weekend as well.
Yeah, and the celebration of rainbow laces. And again, that's a whole other podcast of all the people who are refusing to join in on religious grounds. But we won't get into that because we will be here all night. But yeah, it's the fact that at the end of the day, if you are a idol, you are a hero to many children, not just little boys, not just little girls, who may be questioning their identity and maybe who they're going to be as they grow up. If they see their idol going, nope, not wearing that, don't support that, that's going to cause even more harm. So you think for one weekend, if nothing else, wear the jacket, wear the armband, wear the laces.
When we had our rainbow laces weekend a couple of weekends ago, like at the time we said it's tokenism, it's just this one, it's just some laces and they were given out free. The clubs didn't have to do anything to do this, and yet even that is too much
for some people. For all the people saying, well, why do we need it? This is exactly why we need it, because the comments you get on social media are horrendous.
Are we allowed to name names on broadcasters? Sure. So Laura, Laura Woods has some very interesting, very transphobic views, and claims to care very greatly about women's sports and women's football. And yet when Hannah Hampton went over to hug Kiara Keating and some of the other under-23s, so Liv McLaughlin, Izzy Goodwin, ex-Villa players that she will have played with at Villa.
Them fans in the crowd.
And she called them fans and friends and family and friends and fans.
Yeah.
And Karen Carney's like, wait, isn't that Kiara Keating? And you would think someone involved in football media who presents women's football shows should maybe recognise the Golden Glove winner from last season.
I was going to say, it's not as if she's a under 23, not quite into the senior team. Mary.
You could maybe understand not recognising like Liv McLaughlin or Izzy Goodwin, because whilst we know and love them and would probably recognise them anywhere, they're not household names. They're not playing in the WSL. But Kiara Keating is. Kiara Keating's played for England. Kiara Keating was the Golden Glove winner last year. There were so many conversations about her.
Yeah.
There's so much ignorance around these days.
Because she even so the camera panned, obviously the camera knowing, there's the under-23s, let's capture this moment. And it was, isn't that lovely? Hannah Hampton greeting her friends and fans in the crowd. And it was so patronising as well. And it's like, if, like you said, Sophie, if Karen Carney hadn't have gone, isn't that Kiara Keating? There wasn't going to be a mention of it at all. No. Just there's a friends and
then they didn't even mention that there was other under-23s players there.
No, didn't mention under-23s at all.
Not that they'd played that, in
the day previously.
Yeah, the day before.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And I'm just
yeah.
like,
ignorance.
surely if you are in sports media and you care so much about women's sports and women's football,
Or
like,
just don't comment. If you're not sure, don't comment.
Yeah.
like,
Just be like, oh, look at these, positive scenes after the game, or play. Yeah, just something. There's a way to do it. But yeah, it just makes you think other people have got sacked for less. Just put it like that. But yeah, I just can't. So yeah, so we'll leave that one there before that goes off on a different path as well. Now, Emily, we're going to go over to check in with our lovely Kenza Darley now. Now, France played Spain, and this ended 2-4 to Spain. Kenza got into a little scuffle with Patry, which was quite fun. But yeah, what did you make of this game? And yeah, how was Kenza?
Yeah, I ended up watching. So Kenza didn't play in the first match against Nigeria. She didn't make an appearance at all in that, which France won 2-1. And then she played the whole match against Spain. It was, to be honest, if you look at the scoreline, which I didn't watch it live, I looked at the scoreline and thought, oh, Spain have done a classic Spain here and dominated it. But actually, it was a really close game. They had, the stats were pretty much 50-50 nearly on everything. They had, Aitana scored early on, which obviously gives Spain that little cushion. But France, again, they could have scored in the first 10 minutes. They had some really clear-cut chances that just they should have put in. Yeah, I think Pina for Spain played really well. She obviously got her goal, but she played really well the whole match. But yeah, France should have put their chances away earlier on. They had Diani she did score. I think that goal also got checked by VAR because it looked like she was in an offside position, but it had been deflected off Laia Cadena, I think. So the goal stood. But again, she could have had another one. She was clear through on goal and somehow missed the target. And also, Kenza did unfortunately give away a penalty for a handball in the box. Just going back to... Oh no, we didn't talk about it yet, did we? I can't remember. One of the Scotland games, there was a handball that wasn't called because they didn't have VAR. And I think if you look at the two handballs that were given in this France match against Kenza and obviously the Ireland match, which we're going to talk about against Patsy, they're pretty much identical in the way that they're not intentional, but they can't get their arm out of the way. And two were given, and you just think, yeah, it's unfortunate. I can see why, obviously, it was given.
Where's the line, isn't it, between an unnatural and your arms are just following your body as you jump? It's a hard one.
But yeah, France, I think is a classic. That's the story of their games recently, where they played some nice football and then it just sort of all falls apart a bit when you're trying to finish it off and close games down.
Sorry, Emily.
No,
hasn't it come out today that Estelle Cascarino did her ACL in that game as well?
Yeah, so another, it's basically one a week, isn't it?
I would not love to look at the statistics, but I would
delve into it, and it probably is
one a week at the minute.
Awful, absolutely awful. Yeah, because you just say anyone that goes down now, because of course Brooke Aspen did hers as well, didn't she? And you're just like, every time someone goes down now, clutching their knee, you're like, no, please no, please no. Yeah,
I do think again it's an interesting one that that there were so many goals in that game. So you look at the last international window when Spain played Canada, they only won 1-0, and I think obviously Canada have always had a really good, strong defense and back line.
Yeah,
and it's interesting because Wendy Renard obviously was playing in that match, but again she's an older player now, so they need, that's an area of their game that they need to figure out.
I feel like
Yeah.
Wendy Renard has been around for forever at this point. Like,
Yeah. I can't imagine a team without her.
no,
I
like
really can't. No.
Because it's a bit like France have obviously they've got so much attacking threat, but it's getting it all to click and the core to everything to they're not at the Scotland level of having a load of good players that aren't playing. It's not working at all, but there's just something that never quite clicks for France.
Yeah. Where have we heard that before? All the players are just not quite clicking. Yeah, no. But yeah, thank you for that. And again, hopefully we see Kenza getting more minutes at the weekend as well, because we know what she can do. Right then, we're going to come back to me and the incredibly exciting Ireland versus Wales. Now, I've got too many notes. I got really excited for this one. Okay, now I can hear him meowing. Is there a meow?
I can hear
that's fine. He's got big opinions about the Ireland Wales. Clearly, big
Never
opinions.
a handball.
I was going to say I'll try and sum this up because, like I said, I got excited and I've got quite a lot. So we're watching this for our wonderful Anna Patten. Now, nearly 26,000 fans descended on the Aviva Stadium, all to play for, as we said, as the first leg ended 1-1. And again, Ireland looked like they were going to win, and they had pretty much most of the possession. They had 17 shots, and it just, bizarre how it all came about. Now, some fantastic names in there. Again, everyone was watching to see what Ruesha could do in this match. Who was she either going to send off, or what goal was she going to get? Now, Ireland, again, the people on there like Denise O'Sullivan, Julianne Russell, like all of these names were getting closer and closer to the goal. But again, it just wasn't happening for them. Katie McCabe, something didn't feel right about her performance. And it just felt like she was missing that bit of magic. So again, I don't know if it was that pressure. Not that we've seen her really suffer before from that, but in such a high stakes environment at home at the Aviva, you think maybe that frustration was coming out more and more, like, because her physical side, her physical side, there we go. I can English, I promise. It felt like there was far too much frustration coming out physically. And she was very lucky not to get a red card in that match. Very lucky. Again, signs of frustration. She just completely took Rachel Rowe's feet out from under her, didn't she? So yeah, that could have been awkward. Courtney Brosnan,
did predict there should have been red cards in that game. I thought there was going to be red cards.
Yeah, I was so confident there was going to be like 3, because I was just like, they're going to both be going for it. We know Ireland don't shy away from anything. I missed out in the first one. There was a bit of argy-bargy, which is great. And Ruesha pushed someone to the floor, didn't she? And they both got a yellow for that one in the first leg.
Shouldn't Ruesha have maybe had a red for that one?
No.
Was it not was the initial?
No.
Didn't touch her. No, it wasn't her. It was an evil twin. It was Siobhan.
We definitely didn't.
For me, my biggest argument with this, and I think I said it to you guys on the chat, I love Jess Fishlock, but she was annoying me so much constantly in that ref's ear. And I think it was very 50-50, the challenge anyway. I am going to think that. And I think Jess talked the ref into booking her in the first place.
Yeah,
I really do. I don't think if she had made such a fuss of it, she wouldn't have got a booking. They both would have been told, stand up, stop being silly, crack on.
Yeah,
and that's how Rue's reaction to Jess was of shut up. Yeah. It really, and that's, I think that's where the bookings came from.
But I think you always get players that are in the ref's ears. Like,
but she's not the captain. The rules have changed on that one.
That's true.
Yeah.
Just to be argumentative.
No, that's
no. But that's true though. Like, you've got these 2 experienced players. They're going to be winding each other up. They're going to be looking for, I'll get her a yellow so she can't do that to us anymore. Yeah, absolutely. And you would, wouldn't you, when there was so much at stake?
It's I was going to say it's such a high stakes game.
But
Like
not
both,
a red card.
Oh, goodness.
No.
it was both teams. Wasn't it both teams first? If they'd have qualified, it'd have been their first Euros.
Yeah, for both of them. Yeah. So again, it wasn't just we want to qualify. It was we need to. Like, this is the moment, especially for Wales as well. And talk about
The first ever major
what
tournament.
after. What was that? Sorry.
Their first ever major tournament.
Yeah, first ever major tournament. And yeah, Jess Fishlock at the end, she was just like, my hamstring's gone, but I don't care. Like, we've done it. It's 20 years in the making. Because she talked about how Wales the women's team were afterthought and they weren't really cared for and supported. But now with Rhian Wilkinson, they're doing such.
I really loved that at the end Wales interrupted Sophie Ingle doing the press to cart her off to join in.
Yeah. And they said, they were like, this is for you, which I thought was really lovely. And again, so she should.
I think I've seen some videos of her as well in the celebrations afterwards, like when they were like after they'd gone back in. But
That's
it's nice that she's still a big part of that squad, like even though she's injured.
Yeah,
is it possible for her to be back?
I think
she might make it.
theoretically,
She did her ACL in the summer, but it depends because ACLs are tricky, and
It's not, yeah.
Sophie Ingle's not the youngest of players.
We're just calling all the players old.
Everybody's just old.
You just think everyone's 40, Sophie. That's what.
Honestly,
There is
truly.
nothing wrong with being 40, Freya.
No, to be fair, she's
Hey, I never said there was a problem. Sophie over here. Oh, the 40, they're over the hill.
she's 33, which, and I'm not saying
you're 40. What's going on?
I think as you get older, it's recovering from a more significant injury gets more
Much
complex.
better. Not she's injured. But yes,
No, she was looking really good before she got injured. Like,
so hopefully she can get back to to where she was. Absolutely.
but obviously ACLs are ACLs, and
Yeah, you can't predict it, can you?
yeah, sometimes
I agree, Gary.
I know. In fact, I'll boot her off for you, Gary.
just being really rude to anyone over the age of 30 tonight. Like,
Oh God.
It's over 30 now. Oh my God.
So Sophia just offended all three of us. Like, okay.
I'm getting it in whilst I still can for the next 6 months. Before I'm no longer in the
everyone, when Sophie's not on the pod next week, you know why. I've left her in the waiting room again. That's
rubbing my youthful.
yeah, all right.
I don't know what else was going to be in that sentence. Like,
Just my youthful.
My youthful. Not just my youthful. Youthful optimism. That's where that could have gone. Yeah.
youthful optimism.
But anyway, this match, shall we? So yeah, Courtney Brosnan though needs a massive shout out. Just wonderful goalkeeper. Needs more
Over both legs.
with both of our legs. Yeah, she's really good.
I think if she wasn't in
Both
Not
legs.
allowed
On
to
both
swear
legs.
on this, come on.
have we passed the watershed now?
It's nearly 10 o'clock, mate. We're trying to wrap up. Come on.
Do you think if she wasn't at Everton and Ireland,
old.
she'd get more recognition for how good she is?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Massively, yeah.
It's that whole you're out of the top four, so we're not going to notice you.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. So that's why we're talking about her, to give her what she deserves. I will say though, Wales' defence looked very shaky in the first half. Ireland should have been able to do more and did not take their chances.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the VAR shout that we're going to talk about. This was in the 47th minute. Commentators, as we said before, completely missed it, didn't know what they were reviewing at all. And turns out the ball came off our Patsy's elbow as she was jumping. But everyone missed it. Now, the question was, should there have been a VAR call when no one called for it, no one noticed it, it didn't impact play that she could argue, but of course it's handball in the law of the game. So that was, I mean, it was gutting, wasn't it? Because obviously we've seen these decisions make or break games. Now, Hannah Kane, of course, steps up, sent Courtney Brosnan the wrong way, and of course gave Wales not only the lead, but a massive confidence boost as well. And Ireland looked quite shaky after that. It really, really knocked them. Now, Rachel Rowe, again, we're taking some space for her. Again, gutted her chance didn't result in a goal, dancing through defenders. Proof Hayley Ladd needs more minutes as well. So I think maybe January transfer window for her. Happily welcome her at Villa. That'd be great. Again, Man United's bench players come to us.
Well, we either have to take them from United or Arsenal. There are two options.
Well, because ex-Arsenal player Anna Patton. That's what it says.
Twice she was described as ex Aston Villa. There's Aston Villa though. I was quite impressed with the commentary on this one.
Yeah,
Why?
actually from Aston Villa, which is quite nice. We're finally being recognised as a club, which is quite good.
It was just briefly. It was in the Switzerland game where they said about Arsenal fans will recognise Noelle Moritz, of course. Plays for Aston Villa now, of course. Well, do you think we might recognise her too?
Right?
We still don't know who she is.
No,
We had
Aston
two
Villa,
Arsenal fans behind us at the Switzerland game who definitely didn't recognise Noelle Moritz. They were only here for Mido and Russo.
Well, we had some behind us at the USA game who really didn't like Lindsay Horan.
Oh,
Really didn't like her. Anyway,
there's a small portion of the internet who really don't like her, and it's like, come on. But yeah, people are weird, aren't they? But yeah, England games are just a different kettle of fish, aren't they? For who they attract. But that's a different podcast. What else? Yeah, so VAR call, of course, went against them. 67th minute, Carrie Jones came on instead of Jess Fishlock, who, as we said, pulled her hamstring. First touch of the game pretty much made it 2-0 to Wales, and you thought, can Ireland do it? Can they get back into the game? Second half, Wales defended incredibly well. Ireland kind of kicked into gear a little bit, but it wasn't until those last 15 minutes where you thought, could this actually happen? Could they do the comeback? And it was almost as if they realised, oh crap, we're going to lose this. We need to do something. 86th minute then, our Patsy, the moment we've been waiting for, was the first to react and manages to head the ball into the back of the net to half the deficit. And their celebrations, their reactions were incredible. And that's exactly what it meant. Now, 86th minute, of course, there were then 8 extra minutes of added time. Megan Campbell, of course.
Streaker on the pitch. You missed the streaker.
The streaker. I did miss the streaker.
I missed the
Well, we
streaker.
didn't show the streaker, but
I was going to say, I was like, how did they get away with showing that? There was a
To be
streaker.
fair, I think I had everything. I was watching like 2 games and I had them both on mute. So it's probably
Yeah. But yeah, hey, what's a football match without a streaker?
get that streaker.
But yeah, Megan Campbell and her long throw-ins. You just thought, right, every time it got near the post, it's going to go in. The closest they probably got was Leanne Kiernan in the 93rd minute. Well, 90 plus 3, should I say. Clear on goal, pushing through, and it just went wide. And you just thought, oh God, they're not going to do it. Wales hanging on in the final minutes. And as soon as that whistle went, it was just like, it was, especially as someone impartial, you were gutted for Ireland, but you were so happy for Wales as well. So yeah, as we mentioned, that's their first major international
I
tournament.
think every single player was crying at the end, right? Regardless of whether they'd won or lost, there was tears.
Everyone, yeah. And it's just the heartbreaking pictures they put on afterwards as well. There was one of Courtney Brosnan, just broke my heart. Like, bless her.
There was one of, I think, Katie McCabe, like on her knees, being comforted by someone. I think it was
O'Sullivan.
Yeah,
and it was like,
it was awful. It was heart-wrenching.
I'm not even Katie McCabe's biggest fan, but it was.
Yeah, but to see how much it means and that devastation, it was. But yeah, and I was going to shout out to the people who came to grab Sophie Ingle, but we've done that, so that's fine, as they rightly should. But yeah, Rucha's interview.
I think Gary's mentioned a little bit as well about.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that they chose Rusha for the interview.
I wondered whether Katie McCabe was just inconsolable.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah, I think so.
And couldn't do it. But
When we were
yeah,
talking about Katie McCabe, seemed like she was a bit off. I kind of got the phrase, the heavy is the head that wears the crown. She's kind of there, like,
she's that
everything.
supposed to
A
go,
lot of
really, isn't she?
expectations, isn't there?
Yeah. Expectation to perform, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Rusha, very honest and being like, we didn't take our chances. It just didn't go our way tonight. But you need to look at grassroots in Ireland because it just doesn't really exist. You wanting to get to this level, and we're proving we can do it without it, but it doesn't mean that we don't need it. So yeah, so I think
I liked as well when
she was the right person to do that interview.
talking about the VAR and the handball, and there was no blame on Patsy whatsoever. It was like, what else is she supposed to do?
She's
with
like,
her
how
hands?
is she supposed to jump flicker?
Yeah.
They went to exact words, Emily.
She did that demonstration. I know what you're talking about.
There's a live action reenactment of
there was definitely no swearing involved.
No.
No, of course not. She was a very PG. Didn't have to apologise to the live interviewer at all for her language, but that's who she is, isn't it? And how
we need more Rusha Littlejohns in the game.
We do.
Like, on the whole, she's generally got her heart in the right place. Like,
no, she does
about 80% of the time.
The words might not come out to match it, but yeah, definitely the right.
But I also think she's got she knows when to be media trained.
Yeah.
And then she knows when to have some personality.
Yeah, she's got the experience, hasn't she? Of when to maybe stop and when to go. Yeah, no, 100%. But yeah, I think she was the right person for that interview in that moment. And again, hopefully the Irish FA take notes and maybe put plans in place to make sure they are getting to tournaments in the future. And
a lot of the Irish team don't play in Ireland.
Yeah, well, the setup's not really there, is it? To support them to be at the level that they need to be.
Yeah, not the level, is it?
Yeah.
No.
Same with Scotland, though. Most of those players are playing in the WSL or
abroad. Yeah.
Or abroad.
Yeah.
There's maybe a handful that are in Rangers or Celtic or Glasgow City.
Yeah. Whereas when you look at the England squad, most of them are in England, and it's only a couple who have gone overseas. So it just shows you kind of the level that we're at. But yeah, so heartbreak for the Republic of Ireland. But yeah, congratulations to Wales who gets their first ever major tournament, which is fantastic.
And Fionn Morgan's vlogs are going to be incredible next summer.
Yeah. Everyone needs to watch out for them for those updates.
Though I did see a post the other day about Ireland, what were you doing when Wales were making silly little TikToks the day before, ridiculous TikToks.
Yeah,
maybe you need those ridiculous TikToks. Maybe you need that little bit of fun and
the Grinch.
The pressure off.
That's why I think Villa missed Ruth so much.
Yeah.
In the changing room,
Well, I mean, I think Denise O'Sullivan said she just really brings such a lightheartedness and really takes the pressure off.
Yeah, that's what you need in a team. It can't be all 100% all the time because you just burn out. Yeah, and you're never the best version of yourself, then, are you? So yeah. Let's see what the transfer window brings, shall we? But of course, with plenty of time to talk about that. Right then, we've just got two more to quickly get through then. Sophie, this last one, come back to you. Finland 2, Scotland 0. Again, not much. But Finland took their chances.
Yeah, I was listening to this in the car on the way to the Switzerland game, or the first half, and then after the first half, I was like, Scotland are pulling this back. I can't deal with listening to the second half of this. Unfortunately, when you feel like it's going to be one of those games, and Scotland had so much of the possession and so many shots. I've got the stats here, and it's ridiculous. Scotland had 20 shots and 3 on target, compared to Finland's 6 shots with 2 on target, and they scored 2 goals.
Wow.
So that's not great. Though I don't know. I think no, I can't even say that they've not got. I mean, they've not got Sandy McKeever, who would probably be their first choice goalkeeper. I think
Yeah, of course.
because she's still out with her ACL,
Mm.
and I think she's going to be out for quite a while longer. I think.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about Sandy McKeever.
No. But yes, so it felt the Finland goals felt very against the run of play. And Scotland had most of the possession. They just couldn't make it count. They had 20 shots, but only 3 on target.
Which kind of says everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
About what they were trying to do. Did you also see that the manager was blaming the frozen pitch?
Yeah.
In Finland in December.
In December, yeah.
Kind of a.
If only they'd have made it count in the first match. Played all their best cards.
Am I right in thinking he was here? No. I thought maybe he was at Arsenal, but then I was like, did I make that up?
The Finland manager.
No, Pedro Martinez Losa. I feel like I may have made that up.
I think you might have. Great stuff. It was true.
Oh yeah, he was at Arsenal. Arsenal Women's 2014 to 2017. That was a long time ago, though.
As what? Manager?
As a manager, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't remember that.
So, because I saw something that said that he was towards the end of his Arsenal career. He was, yeah, there was some interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
and then I was like, maybe I did make that up, and then all your blank expressions were like, maybe I pulled that fact out of midair.
I wouldn't have even associated him with
Do
Arsenal.
not remember that at all.
He was there for 3 years, apparently. I
did a good impression.
That's before I got into women's football until 2017, I think, is 2016, 17.
Like that when you were 5, Sophie.
I wish I'd have got into football when I was 5. Unfortunately, not.
Oh, so he was in the USA. Then he came to Arsenal.
Yeah. And then he was in France.
So was
Bordeaux.
he before Joe?
Yeah, Bordeaux and then Scotland.
Yeah. What year is it? 2020.
All years are blurring into one.
Apparently, he was director of football for Millwall Lionesses, but left when they broke away from the men's side and became London City Lionesses.
Huh.
For a fun fact,
Why
he
is
was the
thrown
one
under the
who
radar
signed.
so much that none of us know who he is.
He signed Katie McCabe, Danielle van der Donk, Kim Little, Beth Mead, and Viv Miedema to Arsenal.
Oh.
So he's the reason they're there. We're there.
So you'd think then he should be getting more out of this Scottish side. If he's got the intelligence to sign players of that caliber.
Yeah.
It's
also interesting that Kim Little didn't play much under him as Scotland manager. Even though he was the one who signed her to Arsenal. That's
Maybe
an interesting.
Maybe. Hey, well,
usually managers like certain players, and they like certain players that play a certain way.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But yeah, Scotland, it feels like a massive loss for Scotland. Like they should have done more. They should be doing more,
or at least competing.
Yeah.
With teams like Finland, yeah. So I think this is what Finland's 5th out of 6. Yeah, 5th out of the last 6 they've qualified, I think. So yeah, they should have been pushing, shouldn't they? For
Finland have got some obviously have got some good players as well. Like we've got Korpela, you've got Suominen's there, Koivisto's there that are named.
Koivisto, yeah.
The big ticket names.
Artinen, she there?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, so again, two good teams. You'd be thinking they'd be pushing each other more. Yeah, absolutely. So that means Finland have also qualified for the Euros next summer too. Right, last one then, because we haven't spoken about her. Emily, we're going to talk a bit about Chastity. Who was involved with the Netherlands?
So she played 69 minutes in the first game, which they beat China 4-1. I didn't actually watch that match. I did watch some of the highlights of the second game they played, which was against the USA.
Yes.
They lost 2-1. But again, it was a really, I don't want to say a close match, but it's a match that I think the Netherlands could have won easily.
Okay.
Definitely the first 30 minutes was pretty much all Netherlands. They had so many chances. They should have gone more than one goal up, and then it wouldn't have, whilst they had the momentum, they should have put those chances away because I don't remember how to pronounce her name.
When I was looking at the stats, wasn't the first 2 goals an own goal and a goal scored by the Netherlands by the same player?
Berman, I'm not sure you say her name.
Yeah.
So she scored for the Netherlands and then gave away the it was an unfortunate, like the I think, can't remember if it was from a free kick or a corner, but the cross came in and she sort of tried to duck out of the way and it like bounced off the back of her head.
Oh, no.
And obviously Daphne was completely wrong-footed and it just sort of watched it go in past her, which was unfortunate. But yeah, they had so many chances. Alyssa Nair in her final game for the USA played a blinder. She made some really good saves, which will be interesting for the USA going forward because they have got other quality keepers, but obviously I don't think any of them are on the international level. I don't think any of them are of the same caliber as Alyssa Nair.
No, where she
I
is.
think she's been so good for so long. There's like she is still so good. Like
Yeah.
And she's had years to perfect her skills.
Yeah. Van der Donk could have equalised in sort of the very last kick of the game almost. She had a really good chance right at the very end, but the USA had gone 2-1 up by that point. I think Lynn Williams scored one of the goals. It was interesting. Emma Hayes on the sideline was like so happy when they scored to go ahead, and I'm like we said about it earlier about how she seems to be thriving in that. Now she's got not less pressure because it's the USA job, but stepping away and finding a bit more of a balance between work and family and stuff.
Did you see the video of her chipping her son?
No.
There's a video they put out on social media of her, like, Harry's in the goal and she just donks the ball over his head into the goal.
No mercy. No.
No mercy.
Oh, I love that. That's brilliant.
Very sweet. And did you see Lindsay Horan presented Van der Donk with a swim cap?
I did see that. Yeah. Yeah. The Chastity in that Netherlands game, Chastity came on at the very end for about 3 minutes plus extra time. So they obviously had rotated as well. But interesting, she did play at right back in, I think, both games, or definitely the game where she started. She played at right back.
I noticed that the last window as well, that she was more of a right back, which is interesting. Because of course we know her as a more of a winger, don't we?
I think she is a wing right wing back as a official
as her trade. Yeah, she's a Where do we prefer her? Where do we think she's more of a winger?
I've not seen much of her. I've not seen enough of the Netherlands recently
I haven't
to see her as a right back, like to make form of judgment on it. I do think she is better at the defensive and holding the ball up than.
I do find it curious though in the game where we did play wing backs that she wasn't one of them.
That fateful day, yes. Where no one was in their positions, but hey, you never know if we're still trying to do new things.
But then it's like Maya Letitia plays centre back for United, but clearly she's wanted as a right back at England, and then that ties back into the point of how can she possibly push Lucy Bronze if that's not where she's playing week in, week out?
Yeah, if that's not her role, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like
you were strong.
We have a habit with England of pushing people into different roles. You've got Alex Greenwood, left back, eventually worked her way into centre back.
Rachel Daly.
Yeah, it's just I think We just like to play people out of position and give them new positions, don't we? And that's the new thing with football.
Yeah, why play their strengths? No, put them around. Be versatile. Yeah,
I understand it maybe with younger players that are still developing, moving them around.
Yeah, still
Yeah.
figuring it out. Yeah. But when they're quite solidified as a centre back,
Yeah, I think just domestically when they play week in, week out as a certain player, and then they get pulled up internationally and like, right, you're going to play here.
yeah,
How
like,
can you
okay.
build a rhythm as a player? And I know your international team isn't the people you make the connections with week in, week out, but you still got to make a connection.
Yes, I think Rach Daly spoke about it in that event she did. I think it was last year sometime, maybe this. I don't know when it was. She did that event evening thing with Maisie Adam, and I can't remember what the podcast was called.
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
what
she
you're
spoke about just it taking a minute to when you go back to playing a striker at club and then going back to international camp, and it just
that the one
you
where-
have to reset everything, like your whole
everything you know. Yeah.
way of
Is that
looking
the
at
one
the
where she-
game.
Also said she's got a YOLO tattoo on her like lower back, and I still don't know if she was joking or not.
At this point, we're probably not.
Yeah, like it was a brilliant story. If anyone's not heard it, please try find that episode. But essentially, she was like, "Yeah, it was after some sort of like win or over in America, and she woke up with the tattoo, and she doesn't know where it like."
That sounds very Rachel Daly. That's
But I'm not 100% sure if she was just winding people up, which is equally possible.
I mean, yeah, possibly.
Though I do feel like certainly the older footballers have probably got some stories.
I can't wait for all of their books to come out when they're retired, and they can finally tell. Like Rusha's book when she brings it out is going to be insane. Of all the things that she,
I think Rusha's is going to be very interesting about some of the aforementioned issues in women's football.
Yes.
I think she's got a lot of stories about things that happened and are possibly still happening that are definitely not above
she's
board.
hinted about it a lot, hasn't she? What actually has gone on. So I'll be first in line for that one.
I want it on audio though. I want her reading the story.
Reading it. Yes. Perfect.
I think her accent's so good as well. Right?
Yeah, so Rusha, if you are watching, that's what we need. Please and thank you. If you could get on it, if you haven't.
I do have a soft spot for Glasgow and just Glaswegians.
I don't think many people say that. Only limited few to say that one.
Unrelated to Glasgow, did anyone see the reaction at full time when Poland qualified and Eva Pajor?
Eva Pajor. Yeah, what was it? The 94th minute she scored.
Emotion, like
yeah.
They're another country that I don't think they've been at. Have they been at a major tournament ever before?
I don't think so. No.
So that's fantastic for them.
Yeah, but again, you think of like the Polish players, and they have got a couple of good names in there, but again, because they're not the top 6, top 10 or whatever. And again, with Pajor now playing at Barcelona and playing at these big levels, you want the same at international level as well, don't you? So the fact that they've now qualified is only going to bring them.
Highlight a few players and bring them about.
Yeah. Because Szemik is Polish, isn't she? That was West Ham.
Yes.
Szemik, she was in goal. Of course, Pajor, you've got some of the other big names in there as well. And you just think, this is hopefully their time, spotlight shining on them in the summer. And
I'm really glad Portugal qualified as well, because I like watching them play. I think they're a fun team to watch, and hopefully they can do well as well.
Yes. So in fact, let's just get up.
I'm going to have a really tricky Euros next summer, because I'm like, I hope this team does well, and I hope this team does well. They can't all do well.
I was actually gutted that Republic of Ireland and Wales drew each other, because I would have liked the opportunity for both of them to go through.
We'd love to see them go through. So we can officially say then, so qualified Belgium, Denmark, England, Finland, France, Germany, Iceland, Italy, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, and Wales. Of course, with Switzerland being the host.
Gutting that for Austria didn't get in. I thought there's a few good Austrian players. There's Zinsberger and Zadrazil are probably the two.
Yes, yeah, of course, and it was Poland, Austria, wasn't it? So again, you know, which one's going to go through? But yeah, it's going to be a cracking tournament.
It does just show, like, with obviously the next round of Nations League coming up in the next window, how important it is, because like Sweden should never have been playing those playoff games to qualify. When you look at where they've got to historically, like the semi-final of the World Cup, and you just think,
yeah, because who were they playing? Was it Serbia? Yeah, Serbia. Like Sweden and Serbia shouldn't have been matched, should they? For
it's
this?
Definitely a mismatch.
On looking at qualification again of how it's done.
Yeah.
Because I know that we shouldn't be having teams turn up and into international tournaments getting beat 6, 7, 8-0, but I don't know. It just needs to be better.
Yeah, there needs to be a better system. Yeah.
Part of the issue as well is in women's football across Europe, not every country is equal. Like the UK, we're very lucky in the UK. Most of the nations are either decent or pretty decent, you know.
Yeah, they've got the same sort of standards.
Yeah. Whereas there's other countries where women's football is not even given time of day.
priority at all. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you think there needs to be like a global standard.
I think was it UEFA that said they were investing money into women's football in Europe to try and improve the standard across the board?
That rings a bell.
Yeah, I think Ian Wright's been very vocal on it as well, hasn't he, historically, over the last few tournaments.
Bless him. Yeah.
There's the other thing with most of the international windows in the year being taken up with like Nations League and matches that count for qualification, is you lose that chance to play teams that aren't in your name is escaping me. You know,
Group?
UEFA.
Bubble?
Say again.
Like not your bubble, but that was. But like in the
continent. It's not the word I mean, but you know what I mean. So like the European teams are just gonna always play European teams in those windows.
Federation.
That's the word.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Uh-huh.
So
yeah.
And then like on the flip side, you've got the next international window, Canada aren't playing in the She Believes Cup next summer. So their pool of potential opponents for those friendly matches is like going to be probably like Brazil or Australia again.
South America,
yeah, or like Chinese Taipei or someone like that. Because again, a lot of the Australian friendlies are against
Australia might be in the She Believes Cup. I can't remember, but yeah.
Australia play Arsenal, don't they? So that's their friendly. But it's the Olympics as well. The qualification for the Olympics is absolute madness. I just don't.
Aren't Australia like not in Oceania for football? Like they're in like Asia. They're in the Asian Federation rather than the Oceania.
Yeah, they play in a different one to.
Like New Zealand.
With competition.
So yeah, it's all very bizarre. Very bizarre. But yeah, so that brings us to the end of international football. Last shout out to the England under-23s as well, just before we forget. Miss Wilkins injured, of course. Was that concussion as well?
That was another concussion
protocol. So hopefully she's all right for us at the weekend.
I'm hoping it's just that they're getting better at spotting and more stringent with the concussion protocols, rather than people are just getting whacked with bricks in training.
Yeah, rather than just getting hit around the head and be like, you're fine. As was the case when we were young. But yeah, no, I'm glad. So it feels like there is a concussion like every game now in through protocols. But yeah, that meant Katie Robinson took the captain's armband. Unfortunately, their latest match, they did lose 2-1 to Sweden after Robbo's stoppage time penalty got saved, unfortunately. But we mentioned it briefly earlier, but shout out to Hannah Silcock. Swift recovery for her after she had to be stretchered off with an injury. So yeah, so hope she gets well very soon.
Just on the international front, Australia played 2 games against Brazil with majority of their like whole squad there, and I think some of them have returned, and then they had another further 2 games this
Yes.
week against Chinese Taipei. But Kate pointed out to me yesterday, I think it was, that Charlie Grant and Claire Hunt both stayed for those other games.
Both stayed. Yeah.
It was a little bit
thought that.
odd, considering that they play on the weekend, presumably.
Yeah. So I don't know because you think
Probably they won't play on the weekend.
no.
You would hope they wouldn't be on the pitch at the weekend, but stranger things have happened.
Also true, yeah, because all the Arsenal lot did come home, as we said, but yeah, they're still there because again the Australian lineup was very different without the Arsenal players there.
Once again, on the 2 years ago, that Sam Kerr like got off a plane and was playing for Chelsea like the day after.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I remember the chant being like, "Even with jet lag,
yeah.
she's better than you."
Yeah. Even with jet lag, she's better than you.
yeah, I remember that. That was a good one. But again, shouldn't be happening. As fun as the chant was, definitely shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
With that one. Right then, one more thing to talk about. Back to league action this weekend, and we are away to Arsenal. Woohoo! We always love a trip out to the Emirates. We talked about a possible random squad last time, which again I'll put up before the weekend. But yeah, how do we think it's going to go? Because last time, of course, Mas Pacheco scored. We were 1-0 up until extra time, where the 12 minutes came from absolutely nowhere, and then we got beat 2-1. So, Emily, how are we feeling ahead of the weekend?
Yep.
Yep.
I am
Cautious.
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't even know what to guess at who might start and things like that. I don't know. Because I also did find it. I know that Maz scored last time out. I just found it a bit weird that they obviously are highlighting all of that, but then she's not being played in the league at all, and it just seems harsh to me to be like, look at what you did have.
Yeah,
from a player perspective. I mean,
Yeah.
and then on Sunday I'll be like, and no minutes for you.
Yeah,
But,
and then for Gretchen Wiener's back. Yeah, it's going to be very much like that.
I'm curious, like in terms of international minutes. Obviously, Patsy played both games, the whole game, but she'll definitely start. I think she has to.
Yeah. She has to, definitely.
Robbo did play
ex-Arsenal defender, so she has to, really, doesn't she? Yeah.
Robbo played both games, the whole 90 as well. But she usually ends up coming on as a sub anyway rather than starting. So I don't know. I think we will see the usual in terms of like Kirsty on the left, Chastity on the right. I think that's probably what we'll go with. But
yeah,
it's not what I'd pick, but
I know it's a shame. Becky, what are you feeling ahead of the weekend?
I think it's a real difficult one. I think even if we disregard Aston Villa, not the statement you'd usually say, but
on Villa podcast,
yeah. Looking at the run that Arsenal's on, the confidence they're playing with, the inconsistency that we're playing with, and I'm not being negative because I love a trip to the Emirates, but realistically, with the run of play that we're in, and I know it only takes it's on the day, but looking at past results for both teams, and I'd love a draw.
Yeah. If we could get a draw with Arsenal, that would again just shift the mentality, wouldn't it? Because we could turn up and be brilliant.
Yeah.
We could turn up and win 10-0.
We tend to turn up better against bigger teams.
Yeah,
true. We do.
Yeah,
I'm always a fan of saying we play our opposition. We do that every week. We always seem to pull it out of the bag when we need to. But I just think Arsenal at the moment, they've just got that squad and they're a little bit in a run, and they're all
Yeah.
excited now that
Yeah.
Jonas was gone, and it's
I
just
wish we'd played them earlier.
Yeah, I was about
same.
to say when Freya was going to do her and Sophie, what do you say?
I'm sorry.
I've said my 2 points now. I wish we'd have played them whilst Jonas was still there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And we
When they were downtrodden.
yeah. They're on a high at the moment. The tails are up, and it's going to be a difficult one, especially at the Emirates.
Yeah. So hopefully we can place the occasion, as you rightly said. Yeah. So, Sophie, did you have anything else to add, or there are your points?
No, those were my 2 points. Also, I really hope that like Patsy and Kirsty haven't taken too much of a hit from failing to qualify from the Euros.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully they come back being like, right, I'm going to fight, rather than being too disheartened. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think they will. I think they've got
Yeah.
that about them, haven't they, to pull that out.
I will
yeah.
say, I asked, and we haven't mentioned it yet, about awards. We mentioned
Yeah.
Rachel Daly's presentation for her
Yes.
caps, but Kirsty got Scottish Powers Women's International Player of the Year,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. And Ebony Salmon and Anna Patton have both been nominated for the WSL monthly. I don't know if they've been announced yet. I haven't seen anything yet. I don't know if you can still
I
vote.
don't know when they announce the winners.
No, I don't know.
Not sure.
But Patsy is up for Player of the Month, which is very deserved, and Ebony's goal against Bristol is up for Goal of the Month, which again is so well deserved. Both of them are.
Yeah, 100%. Again, getting the awards and the accolades that they should be nominated for, that we talk about every single week. But again, it's other people noticing, isn't it, and actually taking the time to vote and say, yeah, actually they're pretty good.
Hopefully, Anna Patton's ex-Arsenal status will do her a favour in this instance.
I hope so. Indeed.
I don't know if any of the Arsenal players were up for Player of the Month. I can't remember. I only focused on Anna Patton.
Manager
Yeah.
is Renee, isn't she?
Oh, did you? Somebody pointed out in their previous press releases they'd called her the interim head coach. Will be taking questions on Friday or whatever. And this week it said the head coach.
Oh,
I didn't know.
It might just be some
Also, wasn't
junior
Nick
runner somewhere is like, I didn't type it properly.
Nick Cushing's linked to the job, and he said he wasn't, and then he's left
And
his
now
job
he's
at MLS. He said he was staying in the
left.
American League, and now
Yeah.
he's left.
So they must have offered him a
Curious.
nice little bit of money there. But yeah,
I would not be surprised if he turns up at Arsenal at this point. Like, he seems to
No.
have been the main forerunner for it.
Yeah, the target for it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I know Renee, I think she's mentioned she wants to stay and kind of do more of a like one-to-one coaching that she was done in the past. So I hope she does stay because she's doing a good job.
Yeah.
But if not, hopefully there's a club out there that have gone, oh, she's quite good. Let's poach her.
Do you think, because I think arguably, like, obviously I want to see us do well on Sunday, but the following two games, Charlton and West Ham, I'd rather us get 6 points from those two games.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah,
So
100%.
do you think that, whilst I'd love for Sabs to play at the Emirates, I think he'll risk her, if it is a risk still to play her if she's not fully fit?
have we got to keep it?
That was my
I think she did go to the Spurs game. She was at the Spurs game.
But it's
Sophia Paul.
Sophia. She was fantastic whilst Leet was out, but is maybe the Emirates
That's
a
a
lot to put on an
huge-
18-year-old. Like,
It's a big step, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, leap of faith. I mean, we know she's capable, but it's that pressure, isn't it? That kind of that more mental side of it.
Going back to the players' socials, I think it was yesterday, Vanessa Gilles, before they flew back from Spain, done like an Instagram story around the pool of them all just waiting, and there was Sabs on a sunbed with her ice on her knee, and you're like,
Oh, oh, Sabs. I really hope she's okay. I really do.
Also, Leeds been out for a long period. Like,
Been a long concussion.
I
Yeah,
think it was, 'Cause it
they
could-
can take a while.
it can be nasty, can't it? If you get the wrong one. So, but yeah, we'll just see who we've got available, because I think apart from that, there was
Sophie Kelly.
Academy.
Sophie Kelly.
Yeah. Which again, I mean, you wouldn't call upon her unless absolutely necessary, because again, that's a massive, massive step at the Emirates.
Yeah, I think order of choice will always be probably this season would be Sabs, Leet, Sophia,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then the Kelly.
Sophia Kelly, isn't it?
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, if in doubt, I think you can sign an emergency keeper.
you can
That's
get
the only one you
emergency
can, yeah.
because Man City got Katie Startup from Brighton
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
an emergency last season when obviously Roebuck and McKeever were both out injured, and then Keating was injured as well.
Yes.
Yeah, when she
Yeah,
did.
but they literally had no one.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah,
but there's not a lot of goalkeepers going at the minute.
Who've Arsenal got? Can they spare any?
they've got Naomi Williams as their third, isn't she?
Here we go. We'll have Williams.
I think she did. I read earlier, whilst we were talking, that I think she's posted something today. We were talking about mental health stuff earlier. She's posted something today about that and about advocating for it and her own experiences and things.
Well, we could get Rachel Laws now that Tegan Micah's back.
True.
Yeah.
We'll take it. We'll take it from Liverpool.
I do.
yeah,
I think we just need to be really solid defensively because
Yeah.
it
we
could
can do.
come down to goal difference, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
As we've seen it happen before.
At least Rachel Laws does actually communicate with her backline.
See, wasn't that much of a bad show? If we could get her. But yeah, watch this space then. Right, we have talked far too much. So thank you so much to anyone who's still watching and listening.
Gary's gone suspiciously quiet.
I know, yeah.
Gary went to bed. He
Yeah.
didn't say that he was on call, so he might have actually had work.
Yeah, it might have actually gone to work. How
Yeah.
rude. How rude of him indeed. Now, thank you so much to all of you for joining me this evening. And thank you to everyone in the chat as well. Everyone's still watching and listening. There has been a slight delay just with life. With putting the audio clips on Spotify, but don't worry, I'm on it and they're going to be up very, very soon. Now, if you don't like and subscribe, follow, share, love, whatever you need to do already, here's where you can do so. So as most people might know, or if it's your first time, hello, we are a production from the Hull 115 Yards and the Aston Villa Women Fan Club. So you can find us all across these lovely socials. So on TikTok, you can find us at the Hull 115 Yards or at AVW_fan club. On Instagram, we are part of the Pride Pod, or it's again AVW_fan club. I forgot to add that on, sorry. And on Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it, it's Part Pride Pod. Fan club doesn't have a Twitter. And we're also going to be on Blue Sky very, very soon as well. So yes, please do give us a like, share, follow, subscribe, comment, etc., as one does on socials. So yes, so thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be back next week, next Thursday. We're going to have, I think we decided 2 more shows before Christmas. We'll say definitely 2. And then we'll have a little winter break, and then we'll see what's happening with the transfer window, and we'll do it like that.
Transfer window is like Christmas.
Yeah, seeing who's going to go where. Who can we pinch off?
Well, the United NWSL is starting to announce their released players list.
Yep.
Hey, who can we poach from there? So wait and see who Villa get. So yeah, so thank you very much, and we'll see you